apparently there's 1,000% increase in trans women taking part in sport. So when you have a trans, see, I get it mixed up. So there's a man that's trying to be a woman, and then he goes into the Women's World Cup and then bags a couple hat tricks and wins Player of the Year.
Don't you remember the trans
or player of the tournament?
The trans woman. The trans woman is when they go from man to woman. Yeah,
that's a trans woman.
You're laughing at bags of hat trick, innit?
Do you remember the trans woman?
Are you people just laughing at trans business?
No, he said he transfers from a man to a woman, goes and bags a hat trick
in the Women's World Cup, and then becomes player of the tournament. What do we say then?
You say this is where they are, but did you ever see the one where the Brazilian guy, the Brazilian trans woman,
yes,
he was a man, turned to a woman.
Yeah, we get it. A trans woman.
I'm trying to finish this.
So he's doing lovely.
And then he beat this one woman so bad that he broke her skull.
Oh, what? It's boxing?
Yeah, it was
MMA.
Oh, see.
Broke her skull.
Yeah, no, that's not. No.
A trans
man
just turned into a woman.
Turned to a woman, sorry.
And
he
not
broke
turned
up the
into
woman.
Or whatever he did, man.
Impersonating a woman then.
No,
Shazam, whatever, yeah?
Shazam. The music app, you know. What's wrong with you, man?
Look, he's always making it long, man. And then he went into the MMA or whatever, or she went into the MMA. We're going to hell for this one, bro.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, cats and dogs, rodents and other small insects. Welcome to another episode of the Eloquently Saying Nothing podcast. This is episode 115 of season 2. Yes, we are here, established 2010. And you can find our social medias at ESN Podcast. Use the hashtag ESN Pod to join in the conversation. You can send voice notes and questions and queries and whatnots in your long form ones to esnpodcast@gmail.com. Somebody did ask earlier on and they happened to be here. Instead of sending it in, they do it in the flesh. So remember the question actually?
Yeah, I remember.
Okay,
This
cool.
might be episode 200, you know.
There we go. It probably is. Yeah, if you're doing numbered episodes, then yes, this is episode 200. But so happy birthday, everybody! All right, I am Stavros Boss, get down. And in the room with me tonight, I have Big Wahala.
At Big Wahala on Insta, at Big Wahala on Twitter. You haven't even voice checked me.
Your mic control the past few months is just
wayward, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't know what you're doing.
Gaza for me.
And then you'll start shouting.
Well, I always shout. That's standard, isn't it? I don't know why you don't set me up knowing I'm going to be frustrated about something that one of you people are going to say. Yeah, exactly. So you and your calm self went to go with the Busta Rhymes shouting type person.
Thumbs up. Yeah, I deal with you anyway. Anyways, that's inside baseball.
My Yoruba proverb. Man.
Yeah, we also have Mr. Wolf.
What's going on, people? Character is like smoke. It cannot be covered up. That basically means we cannot pretend to be who we are not for very long.
Well, gays have been doing it for years.
Eh?
Jeez.
Gays.
Damn.
Yeah, how many people do you see that's come out and people like, we didn't know there was gay all this time?
Yeah, but it will not remain permanent. Their true character will eventually show, innit?
Some people are gay till they die, man. Mm-hmm. And nobody knows.
Did all of you watch that video? Before we get to that, we also have in this room...
And you can catch me on Instagram on AKA Mr. Wolf. On Twitter, on AKA_Mr. Wolf.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, bastard.
Well, get it out of the way next time then, innit?
Hey, my man was talking, man.
Always. Well, we also have Simple Simon.
Tell the police this was making noise there.
Let me raise my hands like he normally does just before he's going to do his thing. And close his eyes.
If I were to cry surreptitiously, if I were to cry to let you see, if I were to cry on the inside, I would have no one to blame but me. That was a short excerpt from a poem by the Right Honourable Sizzler Kalonji. It is also known as Dry Cry or Missing You. And it goes something like this. I'm missing you. missing you. Dry cry, even tears, even my heart cries.
But who cares? Whose fault's no one but myself. Things do happen, words can't explain. Beyond the human reasoning, joy meets with pain.
No, you can't finish up there. You have to finish the thing.
No, that's not.
That's one of those days. That's one of those days.
You sound like an artie from church.
But that's how
You
he sounds.
sounded a bit like
I
an
know,
arty
but that's
from
how he
church
sounds.
as well.
It's not supposed to sound like that. That's what.
You. That's how he sings, man. Right through the teeth. Big up Sis like a lungy, bruv.
At Sybil Simon FB on Twitter. I don't have Instagrams.
One day you have to do Celine Dion though, because we know that's your bashment queen.
Gaza, we say forever, da. You know what? Celine Dion is a Jamaican champion.
Exactly, that's what I said.
Her and Dolly Parton.
Why is Dolly Parton involved?
Because they listen to Western, innit? Old Western music.
And they do a lot of line dancing in the Caribbean, actually.
Did they?
Yeah.
I knew them yardies.
It's not just Jamaica. It's not even just Jamaica. St. Lucia, same thing happened.
Yeah, they
Middle
do
of
a lot
St.
of line
Lucia,
dancing in
they're
Barbados.
doing soca thing, and then Tutu's the DJ just swap it up, and you see them all line dancing and shit around.
Yeah.
them.
And then somebody jumps from the speaker and that's it, innit?
Yeah, Marilyn.
All right. Also in the room with us, it's not Jolene. It is a very special guest, Simone.
Boy.
Simone.
You can't really be saying Simone anymore, you know, bro.
I forgot to record that thing. Anyway, before we get sorry.
Hi, guys.
Simone, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Tell us. We're good. Tell the people about yourself.
What's there to tell?
Yeah, because we discussed this before, innit?
Yeah.
Go down and get your
I wanted to call you.
Former podcaster.
Yeah.
You can call me a former podcaster if you want to.
Gunshot.
I featured on several over the last however many months, years.
Drop down and get your eagle on, girl.
Flap your wings. I won't be doing any of that. So let's just. I won't be doing any of that. Yeah. But yeah, I'm here. Happy to be here.
You're just here.
Gaza formation.
I'm just here.
All right then. Thank you for joining us.
You're welcome.
All right.
Socials.
At Simone Ashby on Instagram and Twitter.
Is it Simone with an E?
Yes. And an I. No Y.
People spell them name with a Y.
How could you spell Simone without an E?
Ashby.
I'm just checking.
Okay.
Talking about her last name.
Oh, ASHBY.
All right.
Is that full government?
Mm-hmm.
Full government status.
Got nothing to hide.
Nothing to hide.
Yeah, man.
So you've never had problems with the police?
Nope.
But you're black.
Gaza formation.
They can come for me if they want, but I don't think they want that smoke.
Don't call them here.
They don't want no problems with me.
All right. Okay. So make sure you join in the conversation. Don't sit there silently.
No, I won't.
All right. Okay. So we'll get to your question.
Okay.
What was it? What's the general thing is about actually?
It was about the stabbings that have happened at the weekend.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Cool. All right then.
So,
I
yeah.
like that.
Okay. Because I think I've got a theme. So I think we'll get through your question, Mr. Wolf, and then we'll get through your question because I think the other questions that came organically this week, because we're recording on Friday, we haven't had a peak amount of time to get through all the the stuff that's going to pop up in the weekend that we're not going to get a
Normally
chance to
record on
record.
Sunday, man.
So it's here, but there's stuff that I think there's a theme. But let's start off with Mr. Wolf and his topic.
Can we talk about Michael Jackson as well today?
Okay, fine.
I think that it will kind of spear off this. Yeah,
okay, then it will jump off what Mr. Wolf is doing, and then we'll go into Michael Jackson. I don't know why we would just want to talk about molesting.
But anyway,
is he talking about molesting?
Who knows?
okay. You can turn it up when you're good and ready.
Bruv, the thing is turned up.
Simple Simon.
Oh, it's a video.
I mean, I'm talking about. Where's my
This is his favorite activity, people. Playing videos.
You're joking.
Going on dealing with R. Kelly, and I see all of these so-called celebrities, comedians, and people talking and running your mouth and being very quick to jump on it as an opportunity to be a prostitute for likes and views. How many of you have a very short memory because you forget that this is the same system that helps to destroy a black man completely, and you are helping this system to destroy a black man who is already going down. A brother's already going down, so why are you going to help to kick the brother while he's already going down? I didn't see any of you making any memes or videos as it pertains to the Pope or the Vatican or these over 6,000 Catholic priests who are found to be involved with little boys just 2 weeks ago, maybe over the last week and a half. I didn't see anybody do anything about that. Cerise, are you justifying what he did? Absolutely not. What I'm saying is if he is guilty, then let the man go to jail. But we don't need to sit here and continue to stab him and help the system to keep stabbing him while he's already going down. We are the only group of people who do this, and it is a goddamn embarrassment. Harvey Weinstein, Mick Jagger, Hugh Hefner, Steven Tyler, blast him as well. Oh, make sure you keep the same energy when the enemy comes after all of y'all, because he absolutely will. I guarantee that.
Boom.
All right. I don't want anyone to say anything. I want you to tell us what you want us to discuss with this video, Mr. Wolf.
Well, what can I say? As that advert says, the answer is no. Well, let me start again. Basically, I want to know why we as black folks don't show the same kind of energy with other folks when they are doing similar things. Now, he said everything that I wanted to say in the video. No one is trying to condone what R. Kelly has done. We know that he has done something, as a matter of fact. There are other cases to be heard, and there is a lot on social media, in WhatsApp groups, Instagram, Twitter, blasting this guy, and, you know, justifiably so. But we do not show that same energy for the likes of other people, and I want to know why.
Because they're not our people.
It's not just as straightforward as that. Is it?
Sorry. I just want to say, Rastaman have been burning the Pope, the Queen.
Rastaman are a small part of the black community. The black community, for me.
I didn't even finish what I was saying.
Okay, go on. You paused, bruv. It seemed like you had finished.
No, I'm saying Rastaman have been burning the Pope and the Queen and England and everything to do with the Vatican system. From day.
And Sodomites.
From day. So you're saying that no way we ain't doing it, but they've been doing it.
I don't disagree with you, but like I said, I think that the Rasta community is a small community compared to the rest of the black folks around the diaspora. You get me? So what part of what he's saying do you guys, the two of you, really, because you're kind of just dismissing what he said?
Because you're stupid.
Okay, go on.
I just think it's dumb. Are we stopping what?
No, do your thing. But talk in the mic, please.
Why is it stupid?
I just don't understand. I don't understand. You're complaining because we don't complain about other people who are also doing crimes.
Same kind of energy.
I don't care about. But this is what I'm trying to say. R. Kelly's one of our own. That's why we're complaining.
What's that got to do with anything?
I don't really.
When people do things that are wrong, you've got to show the same energy, regardless of what.
Okay, so people talk about Weinstein. The black community was going on about Weinstein when he got caught. Was it not?
Well,
yes, it was.
No, in terms of social media, memes.
Why are we so worried about social media?
Yeah,
I don't know. I mean, social media is quite a big part of
blacks like to complain, man.
Community now, isn't it?
And we complain about silly things and we focus on the wrong things. Yeah. There's so many other things that are going on in our community, and worrying about people making memes about R. Kelly is just ridiculous. He has been abusing women and possibly boys for as long as we can remember.
And black women from the black community,
and we all know that the world doesn't care about black women. It doesn't make sense. We can't continue to just, we're not prosecuting the white men, so we shouldn't prosecute the black people. Like, that's what it sounds like.
I don't think that's what he was saying.
He wants us to keep the same energy, right? Okay. But the energy is with memes. Memes are not important. They're just a picture or a video with some text that someone's put over it. Like him saying that, they'll come after you. They're already after us. They're already against us. So that's not going to change. That is not going to change. R. Kelly has been abusing black women, possibly boys, girls, for the longest time. He needs to go to jail. Everyone talking about, keep this same energy because no one's going after Weinstein. They've taken his company from him. They've broken the company down. Certainly he's lost money and he is going to go to jail. Remember his target audience is white women. White women are quote unquote the elite, right? And he abused the quote unquote elite. He's going to jail.
He's Jewish, man. So I don't know about that. I mean, it will be interesting to see how far it goes with Harvey Weinstein, because there are a few others that are in the same ilk that are walking scot-free.
Like who?
Like
Woody
Allen. And what's going on with my man?
Yeah, but
at the moment, the guy from House of Cards.
No, Kevin Spacey.
Yeah,
but he's going through court, innit? So he might end up in
these things are taking a very long time.
They all take very long.
Kelly's one took a very long time.
Not really.
Yes, it has.
R. Kelly's case has been going on for time.
R. Kelly's case has only come to light on the back of the documentary.
No, this
that
is a new
happened
case.
But remember, he was taken to jail before, or taken through the system. How long ago?
This is not the first time. That happened a long time ago. But what I'm saying is that off the back of the documentary that happened a couple of months ago, that is why he's going to court now.
No, that's why it's in the public eye
again,
and because people have come out with more evidence.
I'll tell you what. Yeah, these things happen. The court cases for these things happen over an extended period of time. They're not quick. The process is long and it's expensive. So even the Weinstein guy, we heard about it, but the cases had already started. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? Then you hear about it in the news. The cases are still going on. And even when the news story dies down, the cases are still going on in a lot of cases.
He's got money for bail. That's why he's out.
That's why he's out, yeah. But outside of that, the case is still going on. He still has to make appearances in court. He still has to have his legal counsel with him.
I'm not saying that he hasn't got to do that.
So what I'm saying to you is you're talking about how it's only happening off the back of. It's not necessarily only happening off the back of.
But it is, though.
No.
Which one?
The reason why he was... Yes.
No, the reason,
but you do realise that he was doing nothing... That there was nothing in terms of his status... this time last year.
Okay.
I think he brought out an album.
When you say it's off the back of, maybe, but it's still
new evidence came to light.
Because people have sent new video tapes and stuff like that.
Yeah, so new.
But I don't understand. I just don't.
I'm just throwing a question out there. I'm not saying that I completely co-signed with the guy. I found it.
That's
interesting.
exactly what you said at the beginning.
That is true what you said. He said everything that you needed to say in the video.
He said everything. He said everything that I would want to say.
In terms of the question. Not in terms of me agreeing with what he said. So you asked me to ask a question in it.
What?
So I have a question for you.
Followed brows.
Do you think that...
You asked me to ask a question, innit?
No. Sorry, Simone.
Sorry. Anyway, the agenda that you think is happening right now with black people, do you think it's happening just with black men or with black women?
Both.
You think it's both?
Yeah. I think more for black women, but I do believe it happens with both.
Because I feel like there are a lot of black men speaking out about R. Kelly and saying, oh, I don't necessarily condone what he did, but so that's a caveat, right? Mm-hmm. So it almost sounds like, well, all the white people haven't gone to jail, so the black man shouldn't.
I haven't really seen anybody say any but.
Okay, well,
I'm not sure that anybody's saying that he shouldn't get done for what he's doing. But it seems like a but,
because what he's saying is, oh, I don't condone what he did, but keep that same energy for all the white men.
I agree with Simone. If you open up your phones or your Bibles and go to the page Twitter and use the hashtag them first, if you put that in, that is basically what this guy the clip that you played, that's the
stance that he's taking.
That is the stance he's falling in. And this them first thing has started off with the Bill Cosby and the R. Kelly stuff, where let's say Weinstein got caught before Bill Cosby. Let's just say, for instance, I can't remember the timeline, but let's say that happened. But Bill Cosby is in jail while Weinstein is out.
Weinstein.
Anyway, go on.
I don't care about him to say his name properly anyways. So he's still around. Maybe he will go to jail at some point, but he's still around. This them first ideology is, exactly this. Yeah, we have our people that are doing stuff, but what about them? Let's deal with them first.
And then send us.
Yeah, and it's a black thing. So before we talk about the people in our community, yes, of course they've done wrong. Yes, of course we should deal with them, but them first. You've got all these people that have been there for years or decades that have been doing stuff. Like this man had a list of people towards the end. Them first. So that one, that the director that went off to France. Them first. Who's the one that married his stepdaughter?
Woody Allen.
Them first. Harvey Weinstein. Them first. Why are all these people out whilst we're chastising and putting in prison our community? Them first. Them first. Them first. So I hear it. But I don't agree with the stance them first, because I am all of the internal state of living. I look at my home. The example I always give is, you go to school and the teacher says 4 children have messed up. They've done something wrong. They've whatever. And your child is one of them. I don't say them first. Let me look at the other 3 children and see what happens with them. As long as I actually agree and believe that my child is partaking in this nonsense, I look after my child. It's my child I have to deal with.
But I don't understand. What's the point of this question then?
Bro, no, I'm just frying it in the table, mate. That's all. Just calm down.
But again, so with this them first, just by how you've explained it there now, I understand. I understand that energy, and I understand why. And if we try to look at it on an equal footing, to say all things and all people are equal, then you don't necessarily have an understanding of it. If you look at it in context of other crimes, then it kind of makes a little bit more sense.
Like knife crime.
Well, like knife crime, like crime in general. Like we've come to establish and accept now, because statistical evidence backs it up, that the same crime doesn't carry the same sentence, dependent totally on your aesthetic appearance.
So man or woman, black or white.
Yeah. So
rich or poor.
Yeah, all these things make a massive difference. So given that same energy, then I can understand why the them first is a thing. What I don't want to happen is them first to come at the cost of ignoring the crime that's happening in your own community.
Yeah.
And getting justice.
And we should police our own community, right? We're always complaining that people from outside are always coming in and imposing and telling us what we should and shouldn't be doing. We should police our own community. And as a woman, you know, like, I've been harassed. I walk onto a floor every day, 400 men. They look here, they look here, they look here, they look here. Like, we're harassed all the time.
She said her eyes, her breast, her bum, and her waist, by the way.
And every time somebody says, oh, well, you know, other people are doing it, worry about that, it's insulting. Because you're not harassed on a daily basis. Women are, young girls are. Like, we've been harassed since, 11, when I grew a pair of tits, right? So this is a constant thing for women. So when we've got men saying, oh, you know, like, they did it, you know, they've abused people, let's get rid of them first and then worry about our own. Like, I'm worried about the people in my community. They're the people who are harassing. Like, you know, if you're harassing me, I've got a problem. I don't care whether you're black or white. But right now, we've got a problem with R. Kelly, and everybody's saying, oh, you know, target him. While you're doing that, R. Kelly is still holding women hostage, abusing women, troubling women, paying people off for all the things he's doing. And it's almost like you're indirectly saying it's okay. That's what it feels like to me, because when you say, well, whenever you, because it's always whatever the sentence is, but, if, and, that's a caveat. So it's almost like this can happen, but only once this has happened. And what we should be saying is, this should be happening and this should be happening.
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Right, so you mentioned that from 11 years of age, you've been sexually, what do they call it? Because not assaulted or sexually
she said she was harassed. That's what she said. She didn't say she was sexually harassed.
Right, can you remember the first time you were sexually harassed?
Yes.
And what was the feeling that you got, obviously, as a young person, going from being a normal everyday girl, going your normal days, to suddenly now men looking at you as a sexual object?
Slightly confused, but very aware, because I'm the youngest of 4 children and I have 3 older brothers.
Okay.
So they picked my secondary school. They were very protective of me. And I think it was year 11 or 12. We were all playing in the school playground, and a boy held the bottom of my shirt and he pulled it, and all the buttons up the middle of my shirt popped off.
Oh dear.
Off my shirt. And I had a vest on underneath, luckily. And I remember I went home and I told my brother, and he came to my school the next day and said, who did it? And just stood at the gate and was like, who did it?
Oh, wow. So the boy would have been about 16 at the time?
No, he would have been my age, which would have been about 12, 13.
That's not year 11. Year 11's the last
Sorry,
year.
I meant I was about year 8.
Okay.
I was about.
How old was your brother?
Year 7, year 8.
2 years older than I was. He was in the upper school.
So he was coming to beef, man.
He was ready.
Did he go?
He asked me who it was, and I saw the boy cowering, so I thought, okay, I know this is not happening again. So I just said to my brother, it's fine.
So you lot have all got daughters here, yeah?
Yeah.
What do you do?
Not Simone.
Okay, but the rest of you men have got daughters here.
Yeah.
Obviously, Simone just explained to us that she was 11 years of age before she was
11,
the
12,
first time that she noticed about being as sexualized in a way by men. How you lot gonna prepare your daughters for this?
Well, I'm gonna be quite plain with it, boy. I'm gonna be quite clear. This is the Serengeti. This is how people behave.
Yeah,
it's
you
not
need
right.
to be open about it.
This is not right, but this is how people behave, and you need to be aware of the possibility that people around you are thinking like this, and this type of behavior equals that, and that type of behavior potentially equals this.
Is you guys having this conversation with me on Twitter, isn't it?
Yes.
Because you said it's not right or it's not normal or something, and I think it is actually normal.
Normal for what?
Meant to look at young girls. That is normal.
Wow, young girls.
Yes.
I would have just said girls.
No, whatever.
No, but I think he's right. It is young girls.
I think I wouldn't.
Is it?
Sorry, I don't like the word normal. I would say it's commonplace, man.
Or maybe say
Do you know
maybe.
what
I hear you. I hear you.
Yeah.
And I'll stick with commonplace until I can. I don't want to be my normal self and just.
Are we saying big men?
Are we
Grown
saying
men.
I was gonna nitpick and say, are you saying men as in adults?
Yes. Adult men is normal or it's commonplace for them to look at young girls.
And what are you calling young girls?
Schoolgirls.
Let's
From
say it's
11, 12,
Yeah, let's say from when they
youngest.
start secondary school. Let me say that.
And it's for 18 and above. You're talking about.
Yes, man. Normal. You just asked me the question. I asked me the question.
Why are you getting?
No, but why is it normal?
3 months asked me the question. I said yes.
Because I don't think it's normal. That's why I don't think it's commonplace
That's
either.
fine. That's
The
fine.
question I'm asking is, why is it normal?
because that's what they do. Ask
Alright,
any
normal's
girl.
the wrong word. Normal's the wrong word, but it is extremely common that men do it.
I don't get it though.
I
What do you mean you
I
don't
don't
get
think
I
I think it makes sense that you don't get it because it's so far out of your mindset and your thinking.
It's not that far out of a look.
But I can understand. Well, maybe understand is not the right word, but
Man's tiptoeing.
well, you have to tread carefully in it because it's a
Have you
very
ever- alright,
sensitive subject.
Let's do it this way. Have any of you ever dated a woman significantly younger than you?
No. I don't think I've ever dated. Only ever dated one woman that's younger than me.
And how many years difference?
2, 3.
Okay.
Same.
None of us. have done
Maybe well,
I like mutton.
I'd say
You like the
8
young
years.
yam?
8 years.
8 years?
You know, so
How old were you at the
How
time?
old were you?
But at the time, she was a grown woman. So
How old were you?
I'll be giving away a lot of things if I do that. So I'll leave that.
So why did you
say how old the
I said
person
8
was?
years, and the woman was grown,
Yeah, but
over 25. And that's all you need to know.
No, that's all right.
Oh, that's fine then.
So, but in terms of my daughter, I would say the same things or similar things to my son. To say that there are men and women out there that could come for you, and it is as simple as that.
It could come for you.
It could come for you. You know, we're talking about abduction. We're talking about.
I was talking about all that, but
yeah,
I was talking more about sexualizing.
Well, sometimes these things come from the same kind of cloth. These people that are sexualizing people or harassing people probably have the capacity, and some of them do abduct.
You need to be very careful. You need to be very careful
Like
about
R.
what
Kelly.
You need to be very careful about what you're classifying as harassing, and probably what Simone's called it harassing. Because probably what Simone's calling harassing, probably all of us man in here have done it.
No, but I've said in the previous podcast, and I think we've all admitted to doing things like that in the past. When I was young in school, I know that, and excuse the term, I felt up girls.
Oh wow! I was too ugly to feel up girls.
No, that is what was happening in school at the time when I was 13, 14, 15.
Sorry, someone's actually here. Let's not put words in their mouth. Can you classify the harassment?
Wait, Simone. Let us mansplain for you. Thank you. You sit there and just sit there, darling. No, go on.
Sit there, look pretty. Innit?
So,
Smile, smile.
I mean,
So
I remember
dumb.
being in school and leaving school with friends, and men would drive up and down in cars. They'd see you in your school uniform.
Never done that.
They try and tell you to get in their cars.
Never done that.
Oh no, it's fine. Don't worry. I won't touch you till you're 16.
Never done that.
All that type of stuff is commonplace.
I won't touch you till you're 16.
I remember
Yeah.
being in school.
I had a man tell me he won't touch me till I'm 16.
Yeah,
God damn.
I remember being in school, and guys from colleges that I knew were coming to pick up girls.
Yeah.
And even guys and even girls from college who were 16, 17,
Yeah.
big man.
We all know this,
were
which
coming
is
to
why
pick
it's
them up.
commonplace.
That's what I'm saying.
You know what
So,
We all know this.
Going back that commonplace thing that Stav was singing. Right? One, you've got those. You've got a lot of porn where people are actually fetishizing about the women in the school uniform. So that is blatantly commonplace.
I don't
right?
understand.
Right, and the two. Do you remember when Lindsay Dawn McKenzie? You remember Lindsay Dawn McKenzie, the page 3 girl, white girl, page 3.
Most of them are white, bruv.
Okay. Well, anyway, do you not remember when they was doing a countdown to when she turned?
I remember.
What age was she going to be? Either 18 or 16?
I never bought.
Wasn't it 17 or 18 or
something like that?
I remember.
They were doing a countdown in the newspaper to when she could be able to be of age, so she could show her breasts in the newspaper. That was the Sun, you know. They did a whole national. And remember they did the same thing with what's it called? That woman that could sing. What's her name? Charlotte Webb or whatever her name is.
Charlotte Church.
That's the one. They did that same thing with her as well, innit? When she was of age, we were waiting for her to be of age so they could lust up. This country is mad. So,
More.
So it was moving mad.
And hold on. By all means, Stavros will take any opportunity to ban Babylon and cuss England. But it is not an English thing.
No, it's not.
It is not a white person thing.
It's a world thing.
It is a thing.
Yeah.
Men, full stop, all over the world, all over the globe. I think I'm gonna actually stick with normal.
Okay.
Because the conversation we had earlier on, we brought up something about
they want to make paedophilia normal.
Part of the LGBT.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Apparently, pedophiles have said they want to be part of the LGBT community,
which I think is very insulting to the LGBT.
Of course. And I said, because I saw the article and I said, which paedophile says this? Because I'm sure maybe it's one person that said it and all of a sudden they're speaking on behalf of all pedophiles and all of a sudden it's a thing. But it's probably not a thing, but it is a discussion because I do think it's insulting to the LGBT, let me not say T, the LGBTQ community.
IA as well.
Which one's
LGBTQIA?
Anyways,
Different to yours.
because obviously it's different.
Asexual. And what was the other one?
Non-binary.
But I said, don't be surprised if 20 years after Us Mans is gone,
it's legit again.
It's a thing.
At one point, it was legit.
Cool. That is cool.
At one point, it was legit.
That is what I was saying. I said 100 years ago, or 200 years ago, you go and moan about 14-year-olds, big men with 14-year-olds. Understand it? So
in fact, they were doing it on purpose.
I have now started watching Game of Thrones.
Oh dear.
Yes, I'm on to season 3
You're
or
better
4.
than I am.
Hold on. Have you seen the Red Wedding?
Yes, but we won't discuss it.
So we know what season you're in.
We won't do a not everyday podcasting and spoil everything we're talking about. Yes, you bastards. So, if you look at that program, big men not just molesting, marrying women as soon as the period comes.
There was a big discussion
about that. It's a normal thing. And so my point is that because they're going back in, basically Game of Thrones is like an old school thing. That's how it was back in the day.
Yeah, but
normal
context. Back in the day, life expectancy wasn't beyond 30. So somebody who was 14 or what have you,
lived half your life already.
They've lived half their life already.
Okay.
It still was seen as commonplace, though, innit?
But yeah, but again, in context of the time, if somebody's total life is going to be 25 years, 14-year-old doesn't seem so bad.
Yeah, but when you're still 25, marrying that 14-year-old, that's still a large gap, isn't it?
No, I'm not saying it isn't, but I'm saying to you, if you're looking at the life expectancy...
He's just saying put it in context.
Yeah, put it in context. So you're saying, you're going to die in 5 years, and now she's going to be a widow for another 15.
Yeah, but then it's all about inheritance and all the rest of it, the other side of it.
It's in context, whatever. It happened in the past, and it could still happen. It happens now.
Yep, it happens now. We spoke about it in even back home in Nigeria.
So, so going off that question I asked you guys then, yeah? Just to flesh it out a little bit. What would you do if your child's not old enough now, yeah, to know what you've told them, understand what you've told them, and then they see you doing a sexual behavior? So they see you maybe looking at a woman's bum or giving somebody a look that shouldn't be, that they could potentially see as being objectifying.
A young girl.
A young, whatever, any woman, innit?
Okay,
objectifying a woman.
Let's stick with a normal age woman.
That's what I'm saying.
So you're objectifying a woman,
yes,
innit?
yes.
And your daughter catches you doing it.
All right.
What do you say to them then?
The truth, the goddamn truth.
I wish as well.
I was looking at a bum.
It's the truth, though. I mean,
what
I don't understand.
Want me to do?
So you tell your daughter you're looking at a woman's bum, you're objectifying her.
And I said,
and you say it's all fine, it's okay.
Yeah.
So if somebody objectify her the same way, she should expect it and it should be okay.
When Simone said it that men were looking at her, the age thing was an issue. But when she said she goes to work and people look at her body, I didn't get a chance to say it because I let people breathe. I was gonna say, and what do you want them to look at? Because if a man comes in and you think he's good looking, and let's say he's wearing a tight enough shirt, because I know it's a lot harder for men. But all right, let's say he's wearing great tracksuit bottoms or tight jeans, and you can see his bottom or you can see his abs, and you look at it. I don't see a problem with that. I don't see either way. What it is, I think there's a difference from a look and lustful and ogling or whatever. Yeah, because once you start or leering, lecherous looks. Yeah, okay, yes. There's a difference because
what's that?
It's when you fuck someone with your eyes.
You're taking somebody's clothes off with your eyes.
No,
how do you do that?
Simple things.
This is why we need video, you know.
I won't lie about
the what she did just there.
This is an eye fucking.
No, it's true. I've been teaching an older woman at work that she needs to eye fuck on the train because she keeps on. She's 42 and she's like, oh, I've not got kids and I need a husband and everything. I was like, you got to start eye fucking people. You got to let them know like you're interested.
So you're saying that people should do it.
No, right.
You see it? I said that.
So you're telling a woman to do the thing that you're saying it shouldn't be done.
No. There's a difference between, right? There's a difference between harassing somebody.
Yeah. And eye fucking them.
And eye fucking somebody, right? Because there's like, if I'm going to stare at someone's crutch, right?
Whoa. I'm
harassing. That's almost a form of harassment, right? Because I'm just objectifying you. I'm just looking to see what your hood looks like. That's what I'm doing, innit? I want to see print. I want to see everything, right? That's not what I'm saying you should do. Yeah, you can look someone in their eye, and let that person know you're interested without having to look at their body in any way, shape.
But Simone,
you are eye fucking them contextually.
Simone,
that's a massage.
I was trying to give the example of looking at somebody innocently, or not innocent, in a sexual way, but not going beyond a level that I personally feel is acceptable, and crossing that line, and I started using adjectives, and you were the one that said that eye fucking.
Yeah, I know.
So then now all of a sudden you're saying, but it's like different.
A new Apple product.
No, right.
And out in September,
and this is why you need
when you go clubbing, right? You go clubbing, you're in the club, they're playing the tunes, right? Right, whatever.
That's like one German.
Yes,
it's wunderbar. And then you see someone across the room. You don't just like look at someone's leg across the room, do you? Like you
don't know Stavros. You do not know Stav.
I'll look at a leg.
It's a leg he looks for first.
You look somebody in their face, innit? Like, and if you're trying to get someone's attention, you look them in your face, innit? If your face is sourpuss or you're screwing your face or you're not like interested, the person is gonna be quote unquote sort of turned off or feel like they can't approach you, right?
That don't work with me, you know.
So if you look at somebody and that person's looking back at you and you're gazing at each other and you smile at someone, it's more like an invitation to come and talk to me. Mm-hmm. There's a way that you do that. If you just look at someone and you're just looking at someone and then something happens.
I'm playing with you, Simone. I
know you're playing with me.
I get what you're saying.
It sounds vicious when you say "I fucking it" with the fingers as well. Like
you brought it into the.
I've got a problem with that though.
It's a bit vicious.
I got a problem because remember in Cuba we was having this discussion about why the hoes kept on coming close to me, innit? Mm-hmm. It's because when we say we do actually mean women of the night. Yeah, we're not talking about just normal women, please.
Ladies of the night.
Don't come and tell us why you calling us that.
Party,
that's
drink, sex.
And it's because I find it hard if somebody's looking at me to not look directly back at them.
See, they thought you were eye fucking them. That's what it was.
I find it so hard. So if somebody's looking at me, and that's what they do. So they'll stand there and they'll just look at you.
They're waiting to catch your eye.
And you know what I'll behave. You ever seen the meme with the fat boy with the glass and he looks away from the screen and keeps looking?
Yeah.
That's how I behave. So they'll look at me and I'm like, why are they looking at me? So I'll look at them. And then that's it. That's when they think, okay, he's inviting me over. But I'm not inviting them over.
But also,
I want to beef them.
Your indecisive look with they've seen me, have they not seen me, is something somebody does when they're almost caught doing something they're not meant to be doing. So maybe that's why they approach you as well.
No, I'm not. I'm just trying to have my normal day. No, but when I say they stand there and look at you, I mean they're literally standing there and they'll be like staring.
Normal day.
Staring.
I'll be honest with you, like, there's no grounds for you to feel away about that, though.
Feel away about what?
About the fact that they come over and swarm you.
I feel away about it, man.
Now, there's no grounds for you because you don't stand in a whorehouse and then get upset when you get surrounded by whores. Doesn't make any sense.
It was a nightclub.
It's not sensible at all.
It wasn't that.
I'm saying though, what people need to realize and appreciate, and this is why I find this subject so difficult, because there is clearly an area where it is sexual harassment and it's objectification and it's horrible. But then objectification is a mechanism for copulation.
Yeah, you need to be objectified at some point.
It actually is. Like, I've had this conversation with my own woman, and I'm like, how do you feel about objectification or whatever? And she's like, well, I like you to objectify me sometimes. And I'm just like, well, hang on. Well, wait, what do you mean? She's like, well, I do like you to do that to me sometimes.
They're like a quick grab.
You know what I'm saying to you? So it's like, there comes a time where we have to appreciate that there is too far. Don't get me wrong. There is a clear area where it's too far. But then I also feel like we are in a time now where we are trying to make up for red tape? No, we're trying to make up for how imbalanced things are by using imbalance. So we've gone from the lewdness of how men view and objectify women to now the classification of what is objectification and lewdness being skewed. So now what was once just looking at somebody now turns into sexual harassment, when in actual fact it's not.
But we've also got to take everybody's situation into context. So what might offend me might not offend the woman sitting next to me.
True.
So if you're someone who's used to being looked at all the time,
yeah,
maybe you get used to people looking at you all the time.
Yeah.
If you're someone who doesn't get looked at all the time and somebody really gives you a serious glare and you can tell that you're being objectified and all for all that jazz, right?
Yeah.
That might make you uncomfortable.
It makes me uncomfortable.
But then
So I think it's subjective. So what will offend me is not going to offend the next person. So we have to take that into consideration. What I think is happening is people are saying this is sexual harassment.
Yeah.
All of this in this bowl is sexual harassment.
And that's it.
And that's it.
Exactly.
And I might say, well, actually, that doesn't offend me, but then I'll be crucified.
How about
but then
the
equally
women that actually enjoy it?
No, there's some of that.
There is a lot.
There's equally the other thing that makes it even more difficult to try and navigate this ground. Yeah, and the other thing is what is classified as objectification and her sexual harassment can depend entirely on whether you like the person who's doing it or not.
Of course.
Can you objectify your own woman?
Yes.
That's our next thing.
Can you objectify your own woman?
Of course you can.
You can.
How? Give me a way of how you objectify your own woman.
I don't know about that.
Yeah,
Can you?
I think you can.
What?
I
But
think
you just said
it'll
that
depend on
your partner said, I like you to objectify me sometimes.
Yeah.
She didn't say all the time.
No.
So there's a part of her that doesn't like to be objectified in a specific time.
What when she's buffing or something? I don't get it. When you come,
Maybe she's just not in the mood for it.
Again, so then that makes it even more difficult because now how does somebody else tell that you're in the mood to be objectified or not?
You'll have to ask her.
So then it turns into consent. But you see what it turns into now. We're now no longer. It's supposed to be a sporadic thing. Now we're no longer doing sporadic things. Now we're asking permission to object. May I objectify you?
Sorry to cut in. I get it now. Once I've looked at the
definition
yes,
of what normal.
No.
Okay.
In social philosophy, objectification is the act of treating a person, or sometimes an animal, as an object or a thing. It is part of dehumanization, the act of disavowing the humanity of others. Sexual objectification, which I think is what we're talking about, the act of treating a person as a mere object of sexual desire.
But don't you do that when you're having sex all the time?
I don't know,
mere object. Yeah, but that's during the thing.
I think it depends on the relationship that you have with your partner. Innit? There's some women and some men that want to be, inverted commas, objectified. They want that kind of
some people get
lustful exchange.
That lustful exchange to build that chemistry.
That
grab. And some people will call that. Like a girl's friend will say, "Oh, your man objectified you there," and then she may give you a side eye and said, "Yeah, that's what I want."
But she might not say, "Yeah." She might just be like, "That's normal for me."
Yeah.
So it just depends on what you like.
#normal.
This is difficult, man. It's difficult.
It is difficult, and I think it has to be
bushman
judged on a case by case basis. I don't think we can just say it's this.
Yeah. So then, where's the room for people to just run out screaming sexual harassment all the time? Like I was saying earlier. We have a problem, or we have had a problem, and the way we're addressing the problem is by overreacting in the opposite direction.
In certain aspects.
But is that just social media though? Yes. Because if you talk to we're having a conversation here, and I think between us, we could all come to some sort of agreement of what we think sexual harassment is.
Yeah.
But then what I might say might objectify me Mad Cat might say wouldn't.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Your partner might say something different.
Yeah.
So it just depends, and I think it has to be treated as a case by case basis, which is why there's so much fighting, because they say it's, you know, sexual harassment is this, and someone will be like, well, actually, I quite like that, or I don't think that that's an issue, and then people just start fighting, say, oh, you're pushing women back, you're setting women back this, and then, you know, hardcore feminism will jump in, and then liberals, and everybody gets in, and then everyone fights, and we still don't have a solution at the end.
But I'm not judging social media's response to this. I'm looking at the workplace and how HR has changed over time.
Yeah, but that's a completely different kettle of fish.
Very different.
Because that means you're going into work, and the sexual objectification in work can lead to different things. So Sally could be showing her tits, and that could potentially get her a promotion. But hold on, and it's not because she's actually gone out of her way to show her breast. That's just how she dresses. And then the minute now she buttons up again, suddenly she's not worthy enough to do her job, and she get rid of stuff like that.
Yeah, but I'm also talking from the point of view as the same Sally who's wearing a revealing top, then complains to HR that Mick in engineering looked at her chest.
Yeah, but she should be able to go into the workplace wearing whatever clothes she's wearing, and not have somebody to go look at it.
A slut walk, yeah.
That's what they're saying, basically.
Yeah, but
I'm coming to work. I'm not coming to work to... All right, if we're in a club and we're in a social setting where I might expect people to be coming to talk to me in a romantic situation, that's fine. But when I'm in the workplace, I'm going in there to work. I'm going in there to do my job. I'm going in to do what I need to do and to leave that place and do what I'm being paid for, right? I don't necessarily going into work for somebody to go and look at my chest.
Sometimes women do that.
And they do. Yes, I'm not disputing that they don't. But that's what they can say. I'm not coming into work to do that. Yeah? If a man unbuttons his shirt a little bit, you're not going to be saying, oh, okay, he's showing a bit of chest hair there. It's all right for her to then go and grab his balls.
I'll give you an example. So,
go ahead.
I work for a company that is a predominantly, once upon a time, 98% male job. That's just things that males did. And in the old days, they would have porn out on the desks.
Yep.
They would be watching porn on their computers. No one would say a thing. And there would be maybe say 5 or 6 women around, and it would be, go on, get your tits out. Let me see what you've got. That type of thing.
Should I picture a Wolf of Wall Street kind of business?
Yes.
All right, continue.
And
cocaine.
That alcohol, and it was all accepted. As long as money was being made, it was absolutely fine. Fast forward 25 years, it's a completely different environment. Number one, there are more women around. Men have changed. You know, the same men who once upon a time would have engaged in these things are now saying, actually, I don't think my marriage would have survived if things would have continued the way they were. People were paying for prostitutes for clients and things like that. That's just how the environment was. But now things are very, very different. So like you say, I'm very conscious about how I'm perceived in my office, because number one, I'm the only black woman in a client facing position. And then number two, there's only about 12 women out of maybe say 400 that sit on the floor. So I'm very, very conscious about how people perceive me. So I do see that there's girls that come in the morning, they make sure their hair's curled, they make sure they're wearing heels, they make sure that they look a certain way when they walk up and down the floor. But then in that same breath, I hear how people talk about them. And it's not to say that people should talk about them a certain way, because if a woman wants to dress up to come to work because that makes her feel good, she should be able to do that. But the perception is that she's doing that for someone, and you hear it.
Is that your perception? Because the language you used seems, if me, with my psycho, verbal analyst hat on, would lead me to believe that's your perception too, because of the words you said.
When you work with certain people for a certain amount of time, you can see who has an objective and who doesn't.
That means yes.
There are some people that I know that's just their character. If I hang out with them on the weekend or after work, they do the exact same thing. So I just know that that's something that you do. You like to make sure you look good at all times. So in that respect, I know that there are some people that's just what they do. Then I know that there are other people who want to make sure that they marry someone of a certain status. We have the floor that we're on is a floor that's gated and secured for security reasons. And there will be people who come from different floors onto that floor specifically and will do a lap around the floor.
Lap of honor.
Women.
Some women do it. Some men do it too.
Yeah, because that's the question I was going to ask. Because
some men do it too.
I don't
Straight
think
men?
I don't think that men look at other men, or people look at men and say that guy dresses well every day. He must be looking peace.
But men are objectified as well, because we have men that come from different offices, and different parts of the world. So we've got a guy who always shows up. He's always really tanned, and he's a good-looking guy. And whenever he walks up and down the floor, other men are always commenting, "Oh, the pretty boy's back." So it's not necessarily just
haters
about women. It's also it's a perception of and insecurities as well. Like, a lot of people push their insecurities onto other people. So for someone to be like, "Oh, the pretty boy is back,"
I used to get that in my old workplace.
That's a little bit of a strange thing to say.
Not me. But whenever I used to interview a lot of people. Come and clutch on my chest. Why are you laughing for?
Bite your ass.
You're so wicked.
Yeah, disrespect me. I'm standing out here. Anyway. You keep trying to take away my shine. I'm loved in the hood. Anyway, so when I used to interview people, the women would be the one, because we used to be men that you'd interview. Why are you people still laughing?
He said he's loved in the hood by the rats.
The rats love me, man. The rats love me. No, don't hate, man. The artists especially love me, man. I didn't call myself a pretty boy. Did I call myself a pretty boy? Did I even say that?
You're just a boy.
Toy. You know I'm sexy. I got the look going down, man.
Even though the lyrics say it.
I know the Schumacher lyrics. Are you mad? Because I know them. It's just a sexy boy. I'm gonna tell my missus to sing that to me when I walk in the house. That's my new future. When I come in, that's what she should sing. You're just a sexy boy. Sexy boy. Anyway,
Let's wrap it together.
what I'm saying anyway is that when we used to do the interviews, the women used to come from far to be like, what does he look like? Is he buff? Like, what do you mean? Is he buff? Do I know? Am I looking at them? That's what the first thing they would ask. Is he buff? You will never hear the men really say that about the women, because obviously it's not done anymore. But the women will be out here like, is he buff? If he's buff, hire him. That's what. If he's buff, hire him, because we need some buff guys in there. I'm like, for one, that's a disrespect to all the rest of the men that's in there. And for two, how can you just be saying that openly? But they were like,
it happens. But it does happen behind closed doors as well, though. I mean, we have graduates in at the moment, and people will say things. Oh, is a pretty brunette starting? That's just
you will find in some industries though. You've got Virgin and some of those sports stores, Foot Locker and JD Sports. They hire a particular type.
You do not know where I thought you were going
person.
When you said you got Virgin. You do not know where.
Virgin Airlines.
But we saw it in Cuba as well. Like the Cuban aviation
on the other side of immigration.
You see in Amsterdam as well. Like during the day, if you look, it's almost like what people will class as the
good-looking things.
At night, because that's where you expect to make more money.
Oh, so you mean in the windows? You mean?
Yeah, so they'll push all the women that they think are quote unquote the most desirable and put them in the window at night, because that's when more people come. But during the day,
that's what you do.
It will be people who they probably deem as less attractive and might not garner as much money sitting in the windows during the day.
Basically, the 33 of the first go in during the day, and the ones above that.
That's just good business sense. But talk about your Michael Jackson business.
Okay. Oh yeah. So we're getting
Simone.
Okay. So we're getting there.
Come on.
All right. So has anybody watched?
No, I don't think anybody has.
Has no one watched Neverland? What's wrong with you people?
That's the problem. It's a 2-part thing, isn't it?
Yes. Have you watched it?
No.
I'm the only one that's watched it.
Yeah, I'm not going to watch it either.
Why?
I told you. Remember before we 2 episodes ago, I told you about the 2 guys that are doing the documentary.
You need to watch the documentary.
Did you watch R. Kelly?
Fuck them. Huh?
Did you watch R. Kelly?
I didn't watch that one.
You cannot say fuck them, because when you watch the documentary, it gives you a bit more of an understanding as to why they did what they've done.
For what I see on social media is they're saying this documentary is a shambles. It just looks like made up just for sensationalism.
But is that because people don't want to cancel Michael Jackson?
They don't. And exactly that. It's exactly that.
Potentially.
Well, someone I know said that they will find it very difficult to look at this in an unbiased manner.
Everyone's going to look at it.
Michael Jackson is so ingrained in our community.
But this is the problem.
How do you find that?
Explain what Leaving Neverland is first.
Okay, so Leaving Neverland is a film that has been done by two people that in the past have been very pro Michael Jackson in the court as well. So both of them have gone to court
for him.
Gone to court for Michael Jackson and said that he has not touched them, right? But then obviously now he's died. Maybe 10 years now, almost after his death, they've now come out to say that actually they were molested. Now there is some discrepancies in their stories which people are having problems with. One being one of the guys who basically Michael Jackson knew from when he was about 7. He said the guy said that Michael Jackson been molesting him since he was 7. So he met him in Australia. He used to be a Michael Jackson impersonator. Michael Jackson brought him on stage a few times, and then since then, him and Michael Jackson have had a relationship.
We get the idea. You don't need to say the whole documentary.
All right, but yeah, fine. But anyway, so basically, he's saying that after all this time that he's been backing Michael Jackson, he's now saying that he was molested. Yeah, the other guy, the same thing. So he backed him once. The second time that Michael Jackson asked him to back him, he refused to do it. By the way, he just said not even him. His mum was gonna ask. He asked him and his mum, and the mum was gonna do it, and he told the mum, "Don't do it." So basically, he refused. Right. So then eventually, both of them now have got to the point where they decided that they've come to speak out. Right. As much as everybody might say they're chatting bullshit and this, that, and the other, what I do not understand and what I haven't understood for so many years is why people still think it's okay for Michael Jackson to be a 30-whatever-something-year-old man and be sleeping in the yard with 7-year-old boys. Somebody said something that was just so black and white. No one ain't sleeping with nobody for a whole year in the same bed and nothing ain't happening.
Some people do.
I don't think Michael Jackson was, bro.
But not Michael.
Somebody that you don't necessarily see in his adult life with any type of human being.
Well, didn't they say that Michael Jackson, as a matter of fact, that he couldn't get a woody?
Well, apparently he never penetrated them. He just was masturbating and giving them oral sex. He tried to, but it didn't work.
What is your thing? Because you're just telling us about.
Well, I thought you had watched it, so I wanted to know whether or not you actually believe the man then. Because as far as I'm concerned, I believe them.
Something happened.
Yeah, I believe something
has happened. What?
Are you saying about smoke and character, man? You know?
Huh?
There's no smoke without fire.
I think something has happened. I think the way that all of their stories, even the ones that did have come out, because there are obviously boys that have did these allegations in the past, have come out. The way that their stories all matched, like the way that what he did, how he behaved, all kind of matched up. But some people are saying, the FBI has already investigated this. If the FBI thought he had done something, then, they would have found it. But how many times did they try to investigate Michael Jackson?
But wasn't there a lot of OJ with the Michael Jackson investigation, as in corrupt policing?
I don't know.
I got a question.
I know it definitely had, what's his name, though? Johnny was there.
I got a question.
Johnny Cochran.
What do these two guys stand to gain by winning a case that says that he molested them?
At the moment, money as well.
Okay.
I don't, but that's not a problem.
I believe, Stavros here, I believe that Michael Jackson was kiddly fiddling. And now he's dead.
And so is Jimmy.
Jimmy Savile. Yeah, and this is the same thing that happened with Jimmy Savile. Nobody was complaining about that.
Jimmy's dead. But
Jimmy had a lot of backing though.
What?
Jimmy had a lot of backing. He had a lot of people in his pocket.
Backing.
Yeah. So did Michael Jackson.
So maybe they only feel safe to say the truth now. Yeah, that happens with a lot of people. A lot of people don't feel safe until the person is dead and they're like, okay, he can't actually hurt me in any way, shape or form.
Even
now.
the R. Kelly thing. If you notice now that R. Kelly's almost dead in the way that he's in the media, in a way of like his power is no longer there. That's when people are now saying they can come out.
And also money helps because when you have a lot of money, you can pay people off to do all sorts of things. R. Kelly's money is running out. And that's probably another reason why they feel that they've been able to nail him down. He's always been able to bail himself out. He's always been able to pay people off.
I heard a woman actually bailed him out.
Yeah,
that true?
Yeah.
I also think that Michael Jackson was molested as a child blatantly.
I think so as well.
Blatantly, more than once, and I think by women as well, because they kept on saying that he hates women. He kept on saying that women are evil. Don't trust them.
And I think R. Kelly said similar.
And I think he was molested by a woman because remember Michael Jackson was a massive star, right? And I remember they used to say that Michael Jackson. And my missus was confirming this as well. She would say that they used to say that his brothers used to be sleeping because obviously his brothers were quite old, didn't it? So they were just going around having sex with all these girls.
Yeah, and he used to be there covering his ears. And
I'm almost certain that a couple of them did a Lil Wayne type situation and probably got him, sexed up. While he was still a young boy, there's still these women that saying they want to sex Michael Jackson, whether or not he's a 10-year-old boy or 11-year-old boy or whatever. I think he got molested by plenty of women. I don't even think men. I'm saying women.
Wouldn't surprise me.
And I think that's why he was, because you notice, as much as I don't think he had any sex with Lisa Marie Presley. In fact, I think she even said that they didn't have sex at one point.
I don't know if he's had sex with anyone.
Yeah. I don't know if that's the situation,
but we spoke about this. I remember when Web Slinger was talking about the root cause of some of these issues, and it kind of got shut down a little bit.
No, I'm not disputing the root cause. I'm just saying I think that's why it's happened. But that's why I believe that he did what he did.
To segue off that, can we talk about the parents who have allowed their children to do these things? Because I didn't even sleep at families' houses when I was young, even and to the point where now, like, it could be 4:00 in the morning and I could be at a friend's house and I will find my way home. That's just always been something that, you know, like my dad has always said, like, doesn't matter what time it is, find yourself home. And like these parents, I feel like a lot of these parents have just
don't eat their food.
There's that.
Simone, let me give you a joke thing, yeah? So in the program, the mum they went to Neverland. They have like a quarters where people can sleep in. The boy said, "Can I sleep with Michael Jackson?" The mum said, "No." No. The mum said no at the beginning. And then he goes, "Oh, please." And then the mum said yes. And then let him sleep with Michael Jackson. And then not even let him sleep with Michael Jackson. They then went to away and left the boy there with Michael Jackson. They only met Michael Jackson 3 times. Or 2 times.
Yeah, but he's Michael Jackson.
So what? You let your child just hang around Michael Jackson?
Hell no.
But Beanie Man asks you for your child, give it to Beanie Man.
But that's what I'm saying.
Beanie Man, is it possible?
But that's why I'm saying that a lot of we also have to look at a lot of these parents, and I think also within the R. Kelly thing, this is also going to come out where we're going to see that a lot of parents almost
they sold their
children to this man.
And you got to think about that the parents 15, 20 years ago would have been big fans of him as well.
They were trying to say in the program that one of them was like, I didn't really know who Michael Jackson was. Bullshit.
Oh, come on.
Right? As far as I'm concerned, they sold their youth to this man. The youths them got molested. One of them was trying to say that after 30 years, when the boy finally told them, that basically, one of them are like, because one of them had his whole family there.
There is clearly no point to watch this.
You go watch it, man. One of them had his brother there, yeah? Right? And the oldest brother, so it's basically Stav. Let's say Stav was there, and Stav was like the outsider of the family because he wasn't the one that was Michael Jackson, because Michael Jackson took the sister and the boy and did everything with them.
I'll take you and you.
No, he didn't do nothing with the sister, but you're the two that will come around with me, we'll go out and blah, blah, blah. And they left the older one in Australia, basically, yeah?
You're too old for me.
Right? And the older one blatantly said, I can't forgive my mom. He goes, when I'm looking at it now, what sane person would take their son, give them to Michael Jackson and let them sleep in the man's bed and then think that it's cool?
Australians. So
this
not
one
only
where
Americans
I said
and all over the place, man.
where I said I get, and I believe it's normal or what's commonplace for big men to look at young women. I can my head can grasp it. Whether you feel I'm mad or whatever, my brain can work its way around that. I can't work my head around this. Yeah, you are the type of person that is known for doing nonsense. If you get even known for doing nonsense, you're just a grown man, and I'm not letting my young child stay in the bed with you. You're not. It's not. We're not back home, and we have to sleep 4 to a bed. You know, there's no light, and there's no other rooms.
She was saying
you're living in a mansion. Why does my child need to be in the same bed as you?
I would actually say that it's commonplace, you know, in certain parts of the world.
It is.
When you look at some communities around the world that have a bit of poverty, and they kind of farm their daughters out to certain men, young daughters.
Yeah, that happens.
Yeah.
And that is commonplace, bro.
That happens.
So I'm in a space now, yeah, where I'm gonna say, okay, so we found out that R. Kelly was confessing himself in a lot of his lyrics. Can we say the same for Michael Jackson?
Simone?
I don't know, but Michael Jackson was doing some shit.
Billie Jean?
And I'm not.
No, he said, Billie Jean's not my son.
Well, that's definitely true because the dumb children is.
Simone, you wanted to say something? I'm going to ask everyone if they actually believe the Michael Jackson thing, and then we'll get on to your next question.
Okay.
So the thing you were going to say?
Just that my example, whenever somebody says, oh, you know, but he was this fantastic person, blah, 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 and, you know, he wouldn't have hurt anybody. My main thing is, you go outside right now, you're holding your baby. Would you give your baby to somebody on the street while you walked around the corner to go and do something? You wouldn't do it. So a lot of the parents, I believe, had an ulterior motive when they were wanting to leave their children with
one of them was
with
saying,
a star.
one of them was saying, "Oh, he was like my child. He's like a 9-year-old." I was thinking, so if a 4-year-old, the man's the same age as you almost, is acting like a 9-year-old, is that somebody you should leave your child with?
Like I say, you would not go outside and give your baby
I was talking
to
last
somebody
week.
on the street
Unless
and
you
walk
have
around.
an ulterior motive.
You have to ask yourself,
Yeah.
why would you do that?
I was saying I wouldn't give my son to my niece in it.
Yeah, you were saying it.
You know what I mean? And that's my niece. I just felt that she wasn't as irresponsible as she should have been to take care of
She
my
was
kids.
as responsible.
As responsible, my mistake. But let alone someone that you don't know.
But even as a child, if you think about it, like you would have wanted to go to certain people's houses and your mum might have just been like, I just don't like the way they do things. And you wouldn't have been allowed to go over there.
What I would like to
It's
see.
the same thing.
What I'd like to see is that if they do, I don't know if you can, after somebody's died, you can actually prosecute them. I think you can. Some circumstances.
They would probably just take money from the estate.
Even then, I want them to do something to the parents.
The parents need to be done in
I
all.
think,
Yeah,
I think, and,
in
that,
this,
and the R. Kelly case,
and the R.
both
Kelly
of them
one,
needs to
and
be done.
Abducted in Plain Sight. I haven't watched it.
Oh,
yet, but
that's even more mad.
that is ridiculous. That's something you
Abducted
need
in
to
Plain
watch.
Sight is the same as what's going on in the Michael Jackson
Yeah,
one.
and the
watch them both.
parents did the same thing.
All right.
What is that, a TV program or something?
No, so basically, Abducted in Plain Sight is about a man that basically
Spoiler alert.
took somebody's child. Well, it's a program, innit? You know, if you even watch the thing, it will tell you.
When he asked, is it a TV program? The first word you said was no.
No, it's not. It's a film.
A documentary.
Documentary.
All right.
And it basically is about a man that took somebody's child away for a period of time, but the way that he did it,
Yeah,
it's mad.
And he had both parents twanged.
We'll stick with his mad and his twangs, and
Yeah.
we won't go any further.
If you don't want to watch it, I'll talk about it after
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
because it's mad.
So we'll go around the table and ask if people believe Michael Jackson was doing a thing. Stavros is saying yes. Wahala is saying yes. Simone is saying.
Yes.
Simple Simon is saying.
I don't know, but I wouldn't leave my child with him.
You don't know.
You don't know,
I
bro.
don't know.
Does your ass hurt sitting on that fence?
No, I don't know. I don't trust white people. So keep going.
There was a mixed race one that said it.
Mr. Wolf.
He half white.
Boy,
Michael Jackson
I think
is wet.
there's no smoke without fire in it.
So
You know?
Something happened.
Yeah, I think that, his character, he tried to cover it up, just like the proverb said at the beginning. No, I think he's a paedophile.
thank you. All
They
right.
get slaughtered, man.
Who, me?
The Jackal fans are coming for us.
Simone.
You jumped on the fence.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know, but I
don't-
won't leave my daughter with
I
them.
would leave my child with him, but no. But then again, I wouldn't leave my child with anyone.
That's
I wouldn't even leave yourself with him, bruv.
Hmm?
You look pretty, so you might.
He might have used it, yeah.
He might come for your dread.
It's all wrong, though. Anyway, keep going.
Simone, would you
Hello.
like to? You like I said earlier on, you hollered at me and said, "What's the details to send these voice notes to?" I want to send a voice note in for your information. It's esnpodcast@gmail.com. Remember, open up the voice note app on your phone, record a question, a comment, something, send it to us. We'll play it and we'll discuss it.
Again, that's esn@gmail.com. ESN podcast, @gmail.com.
Yes, but because Simone used to be a podcaster and we haven't heard her voice for so long, I thought, you know what? Come on and say it live. We want to hear what you have to say. I enjoyed listening to you on the podcast.
Oh, thank you.
I'm a podcast whore listener, and I used to enjoy you. Yeah, I used to enjoy you, and you disappeared. So I
I
thought,
might be back.
boy, all right, then. Is this how you can talk about?
Yeah.
All right, and we'll ask you at the end then.
Okay.
All right. So come in, tell us the thing, talk the things.
Yeah. So my sort of rant-ish was basically going to be about the two teenagers that were stabbed at the weekend. I don't remember their names, but there was a young girl and a young boy.
So
I don't
this
even know
will be
what
2 weekends ago as this is coming out. So go
Yeah.
on. I don't know nothing about this.
I want to put in a caveat to say, obviously, all murders are unacceptable. It's a tragedy that these two young people have lost their lives. But the coverage of these two non-black teenagers who were stabbed is everywhere.
Is it? Are they both white?
I didn't even know about it.
The girl is white
Yes.
from Romford,
That one I
Essex
knew about.
side.
All right.
And I think the other guy, whose name sounds like it could be a Muslim name, but
I think he's Turkish.
Or is he Turkish?
I think so.
He's very fair skinned. I mean,
he looks white.
He looks white.
All right.
And
White person.
yes, for the last week, I have seen their pictures everywhere. It's a travesty what has happened. I agree with that in every essence of what's happened. But they are only focusing on these two teenagers that were stabbed at the weekend.
So this is hashtag them first again.
No. It's not them first.
I was going to say, but go on.
The government now seems to want to do everything they possibly can to stop knife crime. And it seems that they only now want to stop knife crime now that 2 white people have been murdered.
I can't back that. Because at the beginning of last year, when all the stabbings was going on, they was trying to find all the things to stop knife crime.
So what did they do?
Let her finish.
They didn't do nothing. That's the point. I don't think they're going to do nothing now either.
Well, they've upped stop and search, and apparently they're going to be stopping over 1,000 people a day.
They tried to do that last time.
Well, they're doing it now.
And people shut them down for trying to do it.
No one is shutting them down this time.
I saw something from the side of my eye that Theresa May is having emergency talks about what to do about knife crime this week.
Yes.
Or last week, I would say.
Sadiq Khan did that before.
So, but this is now the Prime Minister that's actually joining in the conversation.
Not the London Mayor, Gaza.
And
I also was focused in London before, that's why. So I
also wanted to just the racism that I'm also seeing as well. You know, when they said they were looking for people, the article said the person is described as black. And that was it.
So maybe there was nothing else.
No, but if you can identify, because somebody's been arrested in about 48 hours, 72 hours, someone was arrested, right? Mm-hmm. And they've arrested another person. And sorry, Mr. Wolf wants to say something.
No. When you're finished, I will.
So they've found somebody very quickly, and all we had to go by was that the person was black. We didn't get he was 6 foot tall or he was wearing XYZ. He was just described as black.
Just a black man.
And that was just very reminiscent of what we heard of Liam Neeson saying. Something was done. The person was black, and we need to find out who's black. We need to find someone that's black. And my friend lives in the Essex area, so she's in a lot of Facebook groups, obviously to do with things of kids and things in the area. And the racism is vile. We need to get rid of the black, fill in the blank. And when they caught someone, they were like, yes, we it's about time they caught someone, because if not, we would have had to taken care of it ourselves. So when we talk, as a country, when everybody seems to be so up in arms about, oh, we're not racist and we're not.
Is this the girl one, by the way?
Yes, this is more with the girl than with the boy.
I don't think they would have cared if it was a boy.
It's more for the girl. But I also think it's necessary. I know last year there was a lot of talk around the girl who, the black girl who was murdered last year. I can't remember her name, but there was a black girl that was murdered in Tottenham. And I know that there was a lot of talk around her, but then I felt like her character was defiled like very, very quickly. Oh, you know, she was involved with these guys and gangs and this, that, and
the other.
And
I remember.
It went from this innocent girl had been murdered to
one of their gang members.
They really tried to defile her really quickly to the point where you don't even hear anything about her anymore.
When Mr. was finished, I'm going to talk about.
No, I just wanted to state or to give a little bit of meat to what Simone was saying. It is section 60, and it's stop and search without the need for reasonable grounds.
And that's now in place.
And that's what I'm not 100% sure, but that is what is going around.
Okay. Do you remember the boy that got stabbed in Walthamstow? The black boy that got stabbed in Walthamstow.
Yeah. This was about 3 months ago, so around Christmas time, just before or after Christmas time. I think it was about 14.
Yeah. So everyone that's listening from outside, Walthamstow is a borough in London, basically. It's quite a new up and coming borough with regards to house prices, because it's really high to live in Walthamstow now. It's getting really, really high. Okay. But anyway, so there was a black boy that got stabbed in Walthamstow, right? When they was describing the black boy, he was a boy that was a bad boy in school. You know, he was riding his ped all the way around the places. He was doing this, he was doing that. Basically, the victim was almost described as the criminal.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah, they said that they believed him to be part of a gang. Yeah. The reason he was on a moped is because they believe he was transporting some sort of... he used it to shuttle drugs. Yeah. But these were all assumptions that they found pictures of him on Facebook with him with was it balaclava? Yeah. And these were the pictures that were posted. Remember, I believe it was between 14 and 16 anyway.
Yeah. It was a very young boy.
Yeah, it wasn't an adult. It was a boy.
But they were calling him certain words. They were calling him gang member. Like, they called him certain words.
Yeah.
Very loaded
descriptions. Nah.
Yes.
When they found out who actually stabbed the boy, it was a white boy. No one was expecting it to be a white boy.
No, hold on. Not white boy.
A white lad.
Because the person who got stabbed was a
black
boy.
Yeah.
The person that did the stabbing
Was a lad.
was a man, I think.
Who was described as a boy.
As a lad. No.
Yeah,
He's a Jack the lad.
A lad has stabbed him. They had nice ways of describing this person that stabbed this boy. Right. So the person
The picture they had of him,
they never called him murderer.
that's the picture you would put in on his obituary.
Yeah. They didn't call him murderer. They didn't call him killer. They called him the lad that stabbed or lad that has been put up for potentially stabbing or blah blah blah. The narrative and tone that they used was so different
It's
from what they were
disgusting.
talking about the victim. Then you could see certain ways that the media was more, oh shit, it's a white boy. Or he's expecting to be black on black crime. Oh shit, it's not black on black crime. Oh shit.
How do we spin it?
Is he part of the gang then? Because if he's stabbing him for gang stuff, why are we not calling him a gang member? Because potentially he might have been part of the gang. That's why it happened.
And importantly, they didn't label it white on black crime.
No, they didn't.
That's what it would technically be, right?
And it was and at the time, this was when the Sterling thing was happening as well. I remember.
Yeah.
So it was obviously Sterling was complaining about how if people don't know about the Sterling situation, Raheem Sterling is a footballer, and he was complaining about how the media portray black people. Black footballers anyway against white footballers, and how that perpetrates racism in general in the public. And it was matching it was mirroring the situation with the stabbing. So I get what you're saying, Simone, with regards to how people look at stabbings differently. I didn't even know that. I knew that the girl was white. I didn't even know about the other white boy, if I'm going to be completely honest.
And bearing in mind that since then, there has been, I think, 2 or 3 more murders this week.
Yeah.
We've not seen pictures. We don't know who. Nothing. We're still seeing the two, mainly the image of the white girl.
But that might just be because she's a girl, though.
It might be because she's a girl.
Girls
but
get stabbed all the time.
Women have been stabbed. A lot of women have lost their lives this year already, and we're not seeing their pictures, and they're not talking about them. There is something specifically about this girl that has got the nation in a disarray. And all I want is for everything to be treated exactly the same, because I mean, last year I lost 2 people close to me to knife crime. I lost a guy that I went to secondary school with, who was murdered around the corner from my house by a white boy. I would add. And my best friend's brother-in-law sadly lost his life. He was stabbed and murdered, and they've caught no one.
Okay.
And he was stabbed in broad daylight.
Wow.
There's no leads. There's no nothing.
What area was that?
Hackney. Both in Hackney.
That's deep.
Daniel's killers have been caught, luckily, but
this one hasn't.
No.
And the thing about this whole situation is, though, when you hear like a lot of people talk about newsrooms, they love anything that involves a young white girl, because that brings in people that want to talk about it. Yeah. So they're like, there was somewhere where they called it something. It was like a term that they had.
You spoke about it last week as well, with the girl that got murdered. Her body hadn't been found yet, I don't think.
With the black girl.
The black girl. And her friend that works for a newspaper, she said that this is what they did, as a fact that the editor said, this is a girl that the people are going to like. Let's run with that story and not with hers.
A young black boy was found, body was found as well this week. He was missing for 3 weeks. And he was found dead this week, and nothing. No one knows nothing. I only know word of mouth.
But still, Madeleine McCann, they're offering more money for her.
And her parents did it.
Madness.
Her parents did it. At me if you want.
The blacker the berry, the sweeter the juice. A kid dies, the blacker the killer, the sweeter the news. Dave. Remember from the song Black?
It's very true.
So that was his.
That's why they're up in arms.
Which some people on social media didn't like the song. They said it was racist. But anyway.
Oh yeah, that's another deep thing. They actually wanted people to take that off the radio because they thought it was racist.
Nonsense.
And then it's saying that, I don't believe it's racist, but if somebody did come out with a song called White.
But it's different, bruv.
But everything's white.
That's what I'm saying.
That's the issue. Everything's white.
If they said to, white, and they started talking about how they took over the world and how they did their this, that and the other, people will be in uproar.
But we're just talking about how much we need to love ourselves, and when we start doing things like that,
they hate it.
Okay, but if white people did that song saying that they should love themselves,
go ahead.
Go ahead. No one's got an issue with that.
Dave,
and I think they do it subconsciously anyway.
Dave is a UK rapper, young lad. Just bought an album today, actually, as we're
great
recording.
album. I like the album, man.
Apparently, it's great. I've listened to about half of it. It's decent. No bad songs as of yet. But anyways,
released J House.
The lead single was a song called Black. We discussed it a week or 2 ago and basically he is promoting black people. In that's the short synopsis of
Black
the song.
excellence.
Did we talk about it? I don't think we had time to.
No, we didn't.
Okay, but anyway, that's what he's doing in the song. So it was played on the radio, and some people believe that this song is racist. There was some feedback? Was lashback?
Backlash.
Some backlash, and people were saying this shouldn't be played on national radio. This is a racist song because, like Wahala said, if we put out a song that said white and we discuss, he doesn't really just talk about conquering and stuff like that. He talks about very like a.
Yeah, but that's what whites are good at.
Well, in essence, he was talking about the things that blacks are good at, the things that and the struggles black people.
There is only an issue when they're not involved. And if we're doing something really well and they've got no part in it and they're not involved, that's when they're upset.
Who's they?
White people.
White people.
They're very upset because if his song was about killing, murdering, running drugs, no one would have had an issue with that.
That's true.
No issue whatsoever. But because he's trying,
racist.
if he was talking about using the N-word and my boys and my N-words do this and we do this and we do this, no one would have anything to say. No one has anything to say about all of the songs that Dr. Dre and all these people do when they talk in that manner. But soon as someone, he's just the first person that came to my mind.
Use him.
But soon as somebody says anything about promoting them, same thing like when somebody comes out and says, I love my black women. Well, the first thing that you see, what about white women? What about everybody else?
What about them?
And you know, then they have to defend themselves. Just because I'm highlighting black women at the moment doesn't mean I don't like white women, but this simple fact that they do that,
or
it's an issue.
Same thing with the R. Kelly situation. You know, what about R. Kelly? They say, what about Weinstein? It's the same thing.
I for one do not want to talk about R. Kelly again.
No, I'm not going to, but I'm saying.
I'm telling you.
But I'm saying. I thought you. But yeah. So I don't know. He was mad. I'm not gonna lie to you. I didn't expect people to come on the actual radio and complain about it.
Yeah, I was surprised.
That's Brexit Britain for you, mate.
It's a real issue.
That is Brexit Britain.
Brexit Britain is a real issue right now.
White people are actually feeling up against it at the moment, you know.
Hold on, shouldn't they feel empowered right now?
No,
it's not working out the way that they wanted it to.
I think they feel, if you were to sit down with the average white man and have a proper, open and honest discussion with them and ask them, straight white male, do you feel like you are oppressed in this society? They'll tell you, yeah.
Because they're not winning.
But they're always winning.
No, they're not winning.
I get it. I get it. And it's actually going to lead on to my question. We've only got about 20 minutes left for my stuff, but it leads on to what I was going to talk about. So if we were on the plane, did you join the conversation when we were talking to the white dude, talking about Brexit?
No.
You?
No, it wasn't.
Come on, man. There was a fool. I can't believe you. I know you weren't there.
It was the media.
It was the media. We were talking about. So on the plane back from Cuba, we were standing up and talking a lot. We was in the little bit where you can stand up, and because we were near the toilets, people kept passing us, and eventually people would join in the conversation, talk for a bit, and go about their way. And when we were talking about Brexit, and it just so happened at the time, I was saying that basically I understand why a white man would feel upset. Especially
about what?
Basically, what you just said, the example you gave, they would say that they feel, let's say, oppressed.
Okay, go on.
I would use the word censored.
Brexit. Yeah.
Because they can't do this. They can't say that.
Brexit.
They can't do anything without them being called something. You're sexist. I'm talking about men. A white man now. You're sexist. You're racist. You're xenophobe. It's like, can I just be Afghan in my chair for a little bit? Can I not just
express themselves?
So they can't exist, basically.
So they want to be happy to say certain things and do certain things, and they can't. Whereas, all right, let's use the example. We talk about a gay person could call a woman a bitch, and
no, they can't.
Yes, they can.
They can try.
They will do it.
It happens a lot. Stereotypical.
Wish a mother trucker would.
Mother trucker.
It happens. Yeah.
I wish.
Okay, with you. Are you trying to say that you don't see that happening, either in the media or even in real life?
I see it in a lot of American culture. I don't see it here.
Oh, they do it.
I don't see anybody here calling anybody.
Do you know any gay men?
Yes.
Okay.
I have gay friends. I have lesbian friends.
They do it.
But my point is, if a straight man was to say it in a straight way, I'm putting straight in commas, then it would be like, oh, hold on, who are you talking to? Whereas, but the man over there just said it. Whereas a black man can say this, and then if I say that as a white man, hold on, what are you saying? But he just said it. A woman can say this, but he just said the same thing. It's like, so everyone can say and do what they want. And I think
context is important. It's important.
You can say that, but it don't have to be. It could be that I just want to be able to say what I want to say. If you can say it, why can't I say it? If you can do it, why can't I do it? Now, let's talk about the N-word. They say that if you can say it, why can't I say it? And everyone says, or every sensible black person says, you don't need to say it. But me, I say that the black person doesn't need to say it either. So I almost kind of see the white person's thing. If you can say it in a song, then why can't I say it in a song?
What I think is, it would be difficult for me as a white person, if I was a white person, to understand, is when a black person says all of these things as to why that word is such a detrimental word, it's a terrible word,
and you still want to
say it. Like, I'll be like, why do you still want to say it then?
Because they don't FOMO, fear of missing out. They want to be able to do everything without repercussion.
No, I'm talking about why. No, I'm talking about a black person saying that this thing is so terrible. The word is this. The word is that. It's this. It's that, and the other.
Because they don't like to be told no.
No, I'm talking about from. Let me finish what I'm saying, because I think you're thinking it from the other way around. So, as a black person, I'm saying to you, as a white person, this word is terrible. It makes me feel like this. It's disgusting. It's this, that, and the other. I feel a way about it with Zingy. So, okay, as a white person, I'll be like, so why do you want to say it then? Why do you want to say it? Because black people want to say it. They want to say it. They want to say it all the time. In fact, they want to say it to the point where they call you as a form of endearment. But you just told me that this word means this, and it makes you feel these things away. Why do you want to say it?
From you.
It doesn't make any sense, though.
But I think that the type of black people that use that word will tell you that they've morphed it and it means all these type of things and blah, blah, blah.
There are insulting things that
I don't agree.
There are insulting things that your missus can say to you that somebody else can't say to you.
No. I was about to use the missus example, actually. Yeah.
No.
Yes, he's right.
It's not acceptable.
He's right. There are things that somebody can say to you in a certain situation, and you'll be cool with it, and somebody else can say it, and it's not. You're not cool with it. And we'll stick with the missus, and you think of your own examples. But now,
I just might not be able to say back something back. Doesn't mean I feel happy with it.
I will now continue with what I was going to say was the theme. So today is International Women's Day as we're recording. I was with my daughter and my brother all day. And I took her to the Fearless Girl statue in the London Stock Exchange area. I took a picture with her there. So I'll show that to her when she's older and explain how she's my fearless queen and etc. 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 Yeah, I'm gonna yes.
He's fearless.
No, I just think that
you are a queen.
As a father, as a father or a daughter, it's important to empower her in special situations like this and to let her know that she can do whatever she wants to do,
unless you tell her not to do it.
Yes. No joke. Anyways, but that is the side thing. Hopefully we have time to come back around to it. But we all know about Terry Crews and what happened to him about a year ago when the Me Too movement started. He got groped, and he's basically joined in the Me Too movement. And he is now a figurehead for the Me Too movement, a black male figurehead for the Me Too movement. So
black male as well, which is strange.
Yep. Beautiful black wife. What?
Is she black? She black?
Yeah, or
yeah,
mixed race.
I think she's black.
Black or mixed race.
Oh, okay.
She's very light skinned, but she's I'd say she's black. She's even lighter than Simple Simon.
Pussy.
A lot lighter.
All right. So a lot of his social media content now is around whether it's to do with toxic masculinity, women empowerment, stuff like that. It's all good, but yeah, I don't think he did it before, but now he's fully on mode that. One tweet is about my program. One tweet is about what I'm doing, this award show. The third tweet is about empowering women. The next tweet is about how men need to fix up. Then it goes to, promoting my thing again. So he's fully that's a big percentage of his social media now is discussing that. And when he goes on talk shows and stuff like that, he discusses those things as well. Now, what happened was recently Obama and Steph Curry had a town hall meeting. This is where public people in America, they go to a building, let's say someone like a Hackney Empire, they'll have an audience and they'll discuss a topic. This topic was about toxic masculinity and how men of colour, how they overcompensate and do things that they shouldn't do to be in positions that they shouldn't be, etc., etc., etc. Basically, we need to look after our young. It's about my brother's keeper thing.
Looking men
as elders, big men now, of color, looking after the ones coming under us. Yes, of color.
This is the problem now.
What's that woman's name?
Yeah, exactly. So some MP woman described Diane Abbott as a woman of color or coloured woman.
She called her the coloured woman. That's different than a woman of color. Because if she said she was a woman of color, then it wouldn't be an issue. All right. So basically, Terry Crews co-signed that talk, and one of his things that he was going on about was was about black fathers not being in the lives of their sons in particular. So one thing he did was basically he made a comment about that, and he got some backlash. And he said, so all black kids growing up without dads or paternal love are just fine. So we just let all these dads off the hook. Just because a woman can do it alone, and they have done an amazing job, does not mean they should. So now people were coming at him hardcore.
Coming at him for what though?
All right.
Are we back in Terry today? Are we back in Terry?
I'm back in Terry because he doesn't really say a lot of stuff that I disagree with.
What was the ratio of men to women that were coming for him?
It was both.
Both?
Both. He basically said, actually,
what was the ratio? Both.
It wasn't like a
She
thing.
asked you a mathematical question. You gave her an ambiguous answer.
50-50, innit?
I'm gonna play a clip, and you can hear.
You have some strong views on fatherhood.
Yes, I do.
Please take the floor.
I gotta say, I posted some things on social media, and people got angry at me. And what I said was that there are some things that only a father can give you. Okay? Now people went, wait. My mama gave me all that. I said, hold up. And this is what I believe. I believe this from my heart. We care more about organic food than we do organic people. There are things that you need from your father. Your father starts out, he gives you your name. He gives you, listen.
Like in Lion King?
Like in Lion King. If you ever watch Lion King, it happens.
I don't know about the give you a name thing.
Then he tells you who you are. That is the point. And the second thing he gives you is your inheritance. Now, that doesn't mean money. You inherit his story. You understand what I'm saying? When you have an inheritance, it's more than that.
I'll leave it at that. But the premise was there are some things that you get from your dad that you cannot get from your mum.
Just use some silly examples.
Yeah, very silly. The examples he gave was wrong. But he didn't give those examples on the Twitter. He just said, you need your dads. You need a father in your life. And it came at him. And you know what the people were saying? So people that are coming up in single parent families are waste. People that are coming up in same sex families are waste. He said, no, I'm not saying that. But fathers should be in their children's lives. And there are things that you get from fathers that you cannot get from a mother. Now,
paternal, maternal.
Yeah, he said that you need the mum and the dad. And that's the ideal. And it should be that way. And then he had to roll back on certain things. He had to start apologizing. And that's the bit where I disagree with him. Because I don't really think he was saying anything wrong. In this clip, he was saying certain things wrong. But the general idea of having a father and a mother, I don't disagree with. So I'm getting on my soapbox. Simone's had her time to rant. I'm ranting. So let me talk to you people that I want to talk about. It makes no difference. A man doesn't need to be there, etc., etc., etc. As a father, nobody, no woman, for that matter, could replace or replicate what I do. Impossible.
Big up yourself.
So there's no two mother family that can do what I and my wife can do. Impossible. And as a mother, Madcap, my wife, there is no two father family that can do what me and my wife can do. Impossible. Cannot happen. You need, the ideal is the feminine and masculine energy to help raise a child. You cannot birth a child without the two of us.
Yeah, but I've seen masculine
pussy. I don't hear nothing.
I've seen masculine lesbians and feminine homosexuals.
Come on.
If you're talking about energy, you're talking about energy. Energy doesn't have to come from the vessel. It doesn't have to come from a male or female vessel. You understand what I'm saying to you? I have feminine energy.
We know.
Yes.
That's why your hair's so long. Energy.
Testosterone grows your hair, actually.
I just take offense to the fact that so much. If you go to Terry Crews' thing, he did this a week ago. As you're listening to this, it's over a week ago. Man is still to this day.
But he was
defending this stuff, and people are still coming at him saying, "I thought you were a voice for us people. I thought you were a voice for progression. I thought you were different than the rest of them men. I thought you were," and he's like, "It's not toxic to be your father." That's what you have to say.
Fatherhood is now not popular. It's not popular anymore.
I don't think that's true.
It is. It's not popular.
I think it's context.
Go for it.
Context is what the issue is here, and also your situation. So if I don't have kids and I make a statement about kids, the first thing people will say to me is, you don't even have kids. So if you are in a gay relationship or you're in a lesbian relationship and you see that tweet, you're going to take offense straight away.
Why?
Because you're the opposite of what he's saying.
No. If you're sensible, then you understand that the reason that you as two women or you as two men don't have kids is because you can't have kids. And the reason you can't have kids is because you can't have kids.
But they do have kids.
It's not about the,
so what he's saying is two men that have children. They're not talking about organically. He's talking about parenting. Anybody can have a child. Someone can give me a child now, and I can try and raise a child.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Okay.
Keep going.
So,
okay.
And we heard you.
If two gay men are raising a child and two lesbians are raising a child, if I come along and say the ideal situation is a man and a woman, I've offended these two people, these four people here.
Pussies.
Because the situation is different. Just like if two gay men say, we have got the best balance and we can raise a baby better than anybody else. Of course, a man and a heterosexual couple and a lesbian couple are going to have issues with what he said. And I think that's what's happening.
But he was basically saying, though, that they're missing something when there's no father involved.
Yeah.
But then in the reverse, and I mean, I'm not saying I disagree with him. I think he didn't articulate himself well in that video.
That video was stupid. Don't worry about the video.
But then
the tweet
also
was better.
Later on in the video, I felt that the blonde woman, is it what's her name? Jenny McCarthy. I think it's Jenny McCarthy. She took offense to what he was saying because she's a single mother. So as far as she's concerned, everything he was saying about this is what I bring to my children, her back was up. Are you saying that I can't give my child that?
She's not a reasonable human being then. Because what Stavros is saying is that, and I will co-sign it, is that I cannot provide my daughter what her mum can give her. And vice versa. Hold on.
Okay, go on.
And vice versa. As a man, there's nothing, as a great parent that she is, that she cannot provide what my son needs from a man's perspective. She doesn't know what it was like to be 7 years old. She doesn't, as a boy, she doesn't know what it was like to be 16, 20 years old as a man. So my experiences, I will pass that on to my son, and there is nothing, regardless of how many brothers that she has, she can't provide that for my son. You get me? And there's things that my kid's mum, there's things that her brothers wouldn't have told her. There's experiences that they would have had that she would know nothing about. You understand? So that's where I co-sign Stavros.
So let me just say something about this situation that always makes me laugh. Like, we live in a society where women will quite happily say, I don't need no man. I don't need no man for this. I don't need no man for that. I don't need no man for this, that, and the other. Yes, we can agree on that. You hear that quite often.
Some women.
Yeah, some women. But you don't really, it's very rare you hear a man, especially a heterosexual man, tell you they don't need no woman for nothing. They would not tell you that. Because we very much know that we need a woman, especially when it comes to raising a child. I know a guy who's raising 2 daughters on his own, right? The mum's not there. The mum's alive, but she's not there. And he will tell you, yeah, I do all of this for my daughter. My daughter don't miss out on, certain things, blah, blah, blah. I'm a good dad. But he will tell you straight, I need a woman. I wish I had a mum for them to ask woman type things or a
female figure.
Yeah. Well, yeah, he's got his mum or other people, but he would like them. He knows that it would be better if they had their mum as well.
Yeah.
He knows that. He's not going to pretend that, he's not saying that they're having a bad childhood. He's not going to pretend like he's giving them a terrible childhood, but he knows out of his own common sense, if their mum was there, it would be a better childhood for them.
Question.
My cousin's a single parent. Large up to him.
So I got a question. So you made a statement just there about the parenting or what have you, and we have to remember that we're talking about parenting. And when you're talking about parenting, it doesn't have to be biological. So what I'm saying is it possible for a woman who is raising a child on their own with the support of her brother or something like that, and the brother plays the father role? Is that possible?
Yes.
And you're saying that, so in that respect, that father energy needs to be there, irrespective of whether it's biologically father or whatever.
You don't need to be there. It's ideal that it's there.
It's ideal. Okay, cool.
Yeah, nobody's saying that it has to.
What I am saying, Stavros is saying, is that the ideal is not brother, it's not uncle, it's not auntie, it's not grandparent. It is
father,
mother, father, child. That triangle. That is the ideal. The minute that is not the case, it ceases being the ideal. Now, I'm not saying it can't work. I'm not saying the child won't grow up to be successful, happy, and fulfilled. I'm saying that the ideal is a good mother and a good father.
Okay, the prosecution.
That's all. So that's it. Nobody can tell me otherwise, and I don't understand why anyone would want to even argue that. I don't get it.
Society's showing you that they don't even want you to argue that man is man and woman is woman. So why wouldn't they argue about the fact that they shouldn't be fathers and daughters?
The prosecution rests.
That does tie into one of the other topics.
Okay,
go there.
So a rapper called Zuby, who I've never heard of, but apparently he's quite popular. He's a hip hop rapper,
West Coast,
an Oxford graduate.
Oh, English.
Yeah. Made a video where he beat the female weightlifting record while he was identifying as a woman in response to a transgender argument. So basically, he said, I now identify as a woman, and started pumping some weights, and he was just doing all the things that you need to do to beat certain weightlifting awards, and he would check what's the woman's record, pumping a few more weights, beat the record, then go on and go to another set of weights for, I don't know, so he did deadlifting and I don't know, pump it, whatever.
Pump it up.
I don't.
He said pump it up.
I don't go to the gym. I don't know.
Oh my God.
And then once he was done, he just said, I now identify as being a man again. He was trying to prove a point. Now,
is his name down on the accolades for these things?
Some people, men and women, are saying, yeah, I like what you did. I like how you did it. And you have proved a point. And then there's other people, obviously, that will say that I disagree with what you're doing. It's insulting. It's insulting and whatnot. I felt it was funny myself personally because I agree with him. I mean, I don't even know what his argument was. I
disagree.
I agree with him. I didn't even delve that deep into it, but I agree because Stavros here is saying that I don't feel you can be a man, have all the man chromosomes, have all the man bits only, yeah, because there's intersex people. But so I'm talking about man, and then say you identify as being a woman and be a woman, and vice versa. Stavros, don't co-sign that. So I'll teach my daughter. Because we spoke about this thing about sexual thing. No, I'll teach her that there's gay people. You know, there's men that are attracted to and love men, and women that are attracted to and love women, and they're just as cool as everyone else. You shouldn't treat them any differently than anybody else for whatever.
But
that's cool. Yeah. And then she's gonna say, "But what about the T in LGBT?" And I'm gonna be like, wait, speak to your mum about that one. I don't know. But in fact, the mum's going to be worse than me, but I'll tell you that. Well, so I shouldn't even tell her to speak to mum.
Apparently, there's 1,000% increase in trans women taking part in sport. So when you have a trans... see, I get it mixed up. So there's a man that's trying to be a woman, and then he goes into the Women's World Cup and then bags a couple hat tricks and wins Player of the Year.
Don't you remember the trans
or player of the tournament?
The trans woman. The trans woman is when they go from man to woman, yeah?
That's a trans woman.
You're laughing at bags of hat trick, innit?
Do you remember the trans woman
Are you people just laughing at trans business?
No, he said he first from a man to a woman, goes and bags a hat trick
in the Women's World Cup. And then becomes player of the tournament. What do we say then?
You say this is what they are, but did you ever see the one where the Brazilian guy, the Brazilian trans woman,
yes,
he was a man, turned to a woman.
Yeah, we get it. A trans woman.
I'm trying to finish this.
So he's doing lovely.
And then he beat this one woman so bad that he broke her skull.
Oh, what? It's boxing?
Yeah, it was MMA.
Oh, see.
Broke her skull.
Yeah, no, that's not. No.
A trans
man
just turned into a woman.
Turned to a woman, sorry.
And
he not turned into
the woman. Or whatever he did, man.
Impersonating a woman then.
No,
Shazam, whatever, yeah?
The music app, you know. What's wrong with you, man?
Look, he's always making it long, man. And then he went into the MMA or whatever, or she went into the MMA. We're going to hell for this one, bro. And then he basically beat up the woman. Or she beat up the woman.
Yeah, you keep misgendering the person.
Well, I'm not having it. Broke her skull. And I think there was a lot of people complaining about that person participating in the sport.
Why?
Because he's really stronger than her, innit? To the point where he was winning championships, you know?
I don't know. God damn it! What's wrong with you?
He broke her skull, bro. She broke her skull then. The trans woman broke the other woman's skull.
Oh, crack your skull! Am I the only one that feels that this
is okay?
This rapper Zuby had a point?
I think he has a point. I think sport is a completely different kettle of fish to your even the day-to-day stuff. Yeah, I'm like, do what you're doing in it. I might decide to call you what I'm calling you, but if you want to call yourself that's your business, innit? Right? But you can't let me coming into a boxing or any type of physical sport like that and then be beating up women anyhow and be saying, yes, I'm cool. That's not cool.
I wonder what these people that are pro-trans think about that. You get me? Because
you can't say no.
At the end of the day, this is a man who has the physical strength of a man.
A woman.
Oh, okay, a man turned into a woman.
I don't think he even had all of the things finished yet.
You know, and then he's laying the smackdown on a woman.
What's interesting about this is
assault,
that
man.
They're happy to have this happen, but the South African runner, does she have a biological imbalance?
I'm kind of like a hermaphrodite, but not a full hermaphrodite.
But every time she wins a race,
they had an issue with it.
They've got an issue with it, and they're like, "Oh, she's got too much testosterone. Is it a man impersonating a woman?" And they're giving it all of this like.
Yeah, but then you'll find that those were the other women that were in the race.
Yeah. No, some people in the public was quite.
Some people because she's up on. They were trying to strip medals from her not too long ago.
Yeah.
And they're now trying to get her to do some additional tests because now they're saying that she's doping. They're coming up with all these things as to why she's winning these races.
Yeah, they first said that she was a druggie at first. That's the first thing they said. Then they went for the chromosomes. They're like,
because she won't come and wear the skimpy pants like other people, and then they were trying to say she's wearing the longer pants because she was trying to conceal things and whatever. Penis. Yeah, that's what they're trying to say. But if you're doing this to this woman, we're now saying that, you know, trans men, trans women can compete in other sports, and that's fine. So why is it such a big deal if she's a woman? If she is anything else, why is that an issue?
But then, see, this is a splitting argument, and the reason why is because when we are talking about trans identity in a sociological sense, we have been gearing toward being all right with it, but the practical sense of this trans identity comes into sport and physical activity, and I guess we have treated the two subjects as separate up until this point, and it's always been a question that I've always asked when we've talked about trans. I've always said, well, so then does that mean that like a trans woman can enter into all women's race? And if the answer to that is no, then why are we then okay with accepting the identity of a trans person? I don't have anything against it, but I'm just saying, how do we, on one hand, accept it here and not accept it there?
Does Bruce Jenner have to give back his trophy, his medals? She or Caitlyn?
No, because he competed as a man.
But technically, he identified as a woman, and he was identifying as a woman in disguise.
But he didn't compete as a. He's not competing now as a woman.
It is when you decide to identify. But I think this is what this rapper was trying to prove a point, because you can actually switch.
So I can next week. Well, not me, but they can next week be a woman.
You can live your life from,
a couple months later,
from 0 to 20 as a man, and then from 20 you realize that you believe you're a woman and identify as a woman. From 20 to 30, and then from 30, you say, you know what? I think I've misgendered myself. I do believe I'm a man again.
Do you have to register it?
Yes, this is what I was about to say. So the reason why his example with the where he says identify, blah, 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 and possibly why people are insulted by it is because the process of being gendered or changing or transing your gender requires some legal aspects as well. So you have to go through a lot of psychological assessments. You have to go through a lot of physiological assessment. You have to be given the all clear by doctors to say that this is a genuine. Yes, you do. You have that,
I don't think that's the case.
No, you do. I know trans people.
Maybe to be registered.
I know trans people.
But are they ones that's in the transition?
Those are the ones that have.
Are they pre-op?
They're still pre-op, but they've still had to do all of the doctor thing.
But is that to be registered as another gender? Because the society is saying that if I say I'm a woman, you should not argue with me in that.
But what I'm saying to you is for you to officially
participate in stuff.
To be recognised as the other gender, you have to go through this process.
So let's say that, because on the job interviews and job applications now, they ask you this question. Remember I was saying to you, there's a whole lot more questions that they ask you.
Yeah.
So if I decide to, that, because there are certain jobs that a woman...
You should say that you're trans, bro.
A woman might get, they might decide to apply allow a woman to have applications. Because, in fact, there was one job that I actually saw, and I applied as a man, I didn't care. There was basically a job that it was for women, and it was like they wanted to get a woman in a higher power position in IT. I didn't see it at first. I just saw IT and I went, yeah, I saw the salary and I said, yeah. But then after, it's only when I saw it, I said, oh, they're actually only looking for women. Oh, wow. I didn't know that people were allowed to say that, but they did.
Yeah. Should have said that you're trans.
So if I said I was a woman and I went to the interview sitting there as I am,
well, you have breasts.
It's true.
Jeez.
And I can lend you a wig.
Huh?
And I can lend you a wig.
She didn't even dispute the fact that I had no breasts. She just carried on with that.
She just threw her own seasoning.
Yeah, and told me that she'll wig me up. Yeah. No, but when I sat that down, I shouldn't have to do that. I should be able to sit down with my whatever my hairstyle, what I've got now, and sit down and have this discussion with them, big beard, everything, and they can't tell me no. I'm a woman.
I'm interested in how this transgender thing will continue. The course is going to go down during sports, work, and other things. I'm interested in the way it's going to go, because I feel that I think it's going to get stopped at some point. I think somewhere along the line,
somebody can say I can't bother.
Something is going to get pushed because to a level where the general people is going to be like, you know what? We've had enough.
You can just identify yourself.
We've let women from behind the kitchen and into the job. We've let blacks, inside the pub. But we can't allow this. We can't allow this. I think it's gonna go too far, and I think somebody's gonna. And it probably will be something like to do with sports.
Yeah, it will. Or somebody murders somebody. Well, I thought it might have been that one with the prison. Because remember that guy that said he was a woman and started raping people.
Yeah, it's a guy who said he's identified as a woman, got moved
so they
from
put
a male
him
prison.
into a woman's prison.
Put him into a woman's prison, and he raped 2 women in the prison.
Are they not trying to set up a transgender jail or something? I'm sure I read that this week. Don't quote me on that, but I'll check.
Why not? It makes sense.
Also, devil's advocate here. Do we think it would be such an issue if the woman had won against the trans woman?
What, in the fight?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And in this weightlifting thing, let's say he didn't win.
Yeah.
Would that change the narrative? Would people then be okay with it? Is it because the trans women are winning that this is an issue?
You know what? You make a good point, because I'm going to go with you on that one, and I'd reckon if the MMA fight, if the
woman had beaten the trans man, trans woman, sorry,
if the woman had beaten the trans woman,
misgendering.
It would have been an argument for equality to say that there is really no difference. You understand what I'm saying to you?
No, I don't think so.
No, it would have been an argument for.
They would have said he's soft.
I'm not going to say it's a complete argument. I'm going to say that there would have been an argument for.
It would have opened
these are physical
sports. More sports.
Yes.
They would have said he was
soft.
There
are some mental sports, like chess.
Yeah.
And I wonder how they would deem a woman beating a trans woman.
See, but that wouldn't matter, because that's mental. That's mental.
When they do chess, do they have men's chess?
I think chess is just chess, isn't it?
I don't know, actually.
Do they have men's chess?
I don't know.
Because that's mad. If you're having a brain sport and you're saying, well, the brain sport is, man's against man only and woman against woman only, that is peak.
No, I don't think.
Because then you're actually saying, because the reason that we allow women to only deal with women and men to deal with women is because physically we are different. Nobody can argue that.
But there's other sports
but
that are
mentally... let people finish, bro.
Sorry,
but are you trying to say that during a mental sport that men and women are different and we have bigger brains than y'all? You can.
Yeah,
and, but then we shouldn't really be mixed up.
That's the reality, though.
Darts as mental and kind of its accuracy. I don't know what the term is. Darts.
Yeah,
what kind of a sport is that?
Yeah, but darts is there's still an element of strength with darts, isn't there?
Well, there was a woman.
It's a physical thing.
Well, there was a woman that competed in the darts championship a couple months ago.
I don't think there's anything wrong with a woman competing in darts because they're not fighting against each other.
So what I was going to say to you about with regards to the mental sports, there was an element of that before, and men did think that their brains were either bigger or more advanced than women's, and that was part of the position.
People still think that now.
Maybe, but I'm saying it was to the point where you wouldn't allow a woman into engineering. You wouldn't allow a woman into computing. You wouldn't allow a woman into those specific areas.
Can we all agree that's a nonsense, though?
No, we can agree it's a nonsense. But I'm saying you asked. I wonder if it could happen. I'm saying it's already happened.
No, I said in sport. No, in chess. Like, is that the reason why it's because?
Yeah, but you said even segregated.
But you said it's deep. You said it would be deep, and I'm saying, well, it's not really that deep. It's already happening.
Well, that wouldn't stop it being deep. That would stop it. That doesn't stop it being deep. It's deep. If your daughter grows up and they say, no, you can't do this because of what? Because your brain is smaller than men. You're not as smart as men. You're not equipped as men. You don't have the potential as a man. It's deep. It wouldn't matter if it's normal or not.
They can't tell her that she's free and she plays dominoes.
It'll be nice to have your daughters grow up and then not feel that they can't do something. In fact, that leads on. It reminds me of that new Nike advert with Serena Williams. Have you all seen it?
Yes.
I can do
the South African runner,
which is obviously trying to say that you can do what you can do anything, and it doesn't make a difference whether you're a girl or not. You can do anything
as long as daddy says you're allowed.
my daughter ain't working in no office anyway. She's a man. So keep going.
Oh God,
well, that's the end of the podcast, my people.
Okay, and on that note,
we will go. So we are doing our church notes, our goodbyes, and whatnot, and our socials. So let's start off with Simple Simon.
At Simple Simon FB, my recommendation for this week is Caribbean cuisine on Hornsey Road. I just now had before the podcast. Everything nice. I just had steamed fish, okra, crackers, and bami. Bomba clot. When I go into the house, I'm going to bust open the door and be like, me I go fuck up a party tonight, you just watch. Mrs. will be happy. So,
she might not be happy that you're eating other foods from outside. And
it's Fish Friday, isn't it?
Top? Yeah, it's back Friday. So it's Fish Friday.
Fish Friday.
As is very, very common in Caribbean culture.
And he's disrespected her food.
So yes, Caribbean cuisine on Hornsey High Road. I forget the number, but it's right next to D&L's. Can't miss it. You have to go down there. The food is good, man. The thing is stunning.
It's not next to D&L's.
Well, if you go to D&L's, you can't miss it.
Okay.
You know, like that. But the food is stunning. So yeah, that's my recommendation for the week. Outside of that, be good to yourself, be good to one another, and let the world be a beautiful place.
Big Wahala.
Big Wahala on Insta. At Big Wahala on Twitter. Latest people.
Mr. Wolf.
What's going on? You can catch me on Instagram on AKA Mr. Wolf, on Twitter on AKA _Mr. Wolf. 400 years of Black Women Renaissance Leaders Lecture.
Blazer.
That is on the 20th of March. And it takes place at 115 New Cavendish Street, W1W6UW.
Plug.
Yeah, so I was told about this. It looks good. 400 years of Black Women Renaissance Leaders Lecture.
Am I a waste man that I never have nothing to plug?
Nope, you're cool. You are Mike Tyson of the thing. You're raw.
Never have nothing.
With black boots and...
You don't need to do nothing, man. Okay, where was
just biting your nails, bruv.
Yeah, I am Stavros. Did you do your socials?
Yeah, I did at the beginning.
I am Stavros Bus. Catch me at Stavros Bus everywhere. I got no Stavros says this week, so I'm gonna join the thing. Apart from fathers, remember, nobody can replace you if you are doing your father job. We were in a place. The man was surprised that I think he had just gone when I was putting on the suit. The man was like, "Oh, with the little girl. That's nice. You're looking after her." What do you mean looking after her?
Bro, we live in a society where people don't look after her.
Because it's like, she's my daughter. I said, I don't do looking after her. She's my daughter. She's my daughter, innit? And he's like, "Oh, that's wicked. That's nice." Like,
you know what? But
nice,
I won't lie. When I see black men with their kids, it brings a nice smile to my face. I don't know what it is,
sure,
but that's what I like.
Can I ask you a question?
Of course.
So today I was pushing my niece around,
yeah,
and I noticed that black women especially would look in the pram, and I thought I was taking into account, or I personally believe that they were looking in the pram to identify whether or not the child in the pram was black.
Interesting.
Do you think that people do this? As a woman, have you ever looked at the ute to make sure the ute is black, just to see if the man's repping?
I don't want to say I've done it consciously, but maybe I've done it. I mean, I like babies, so I I don't think I've done that consciously.
I said, what kind of a person thinks that?
I don't think so.
But some people do it.
Yeah, he said, but listen, he's walking down the street with a baby and he says the reason these people are looking at the baby is not because it's just a baby and just like you said, you want to see the cuteness. They're checking to see if the baby is coffee or light tea. Yeah. And I'm like, bruv, why does your mind go in that direction?
It might just be the fact that there was just two men walking down the street with a baby in a pram.
That could happen, but he was behind. And we look like brothers, so people are going to assume they were brothers. But,
brothers in love.
Because I was saying this as well, because one of my nieces...
said he was behind.
My brother... my nephew... my nephew's missus is... well, she's mixed, actually, but she's white passing, right?
Okay.
Whenever we go out together, because sometimes we go shopping or whatever, she's like, Uncle, can you take me somewhere, yeah? Blah, 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 right? And we'll go out. And I notice... it is a massive difference.
When he says his nephew and Mrs., she's in her late 20s.
Yeah.
She's not a child.
She's not a child.
Yeah.
All right. So I noticed there is a massive difference from when I go out with her, the looks I get from black women.
Yep.
Then when I go out with my missus.
Of course.
Like there is a.
But is it only? Is it only black women though?
Yeah.
That's a whole different conversation.
Yeah. No. So sorry. No. It may also be black men and also maybe white men. But the predominant people that give me the look of almost disgust. How could you? It's black women. They're looking at me like,
Look at you.
One of our listeners who I was having a discussion with is let me say she's short and her
vertically challenged.
Her other half is tall. And I thought she was talking, but I met him the other day. And he was in the car. And you know that what film is it when someone gets out of the car and then you actually look up and you're like, oh, I see what the dude is tall. Yeah. And she's short and he's tall. And she said that when tall women see the two of them, they screw face her. Because it's like, why is it? Why are you taking the man? And I said the same thing I said to you. Why is your mind going in that direction? She's like, listen, my man's really tall. And I was like, this is before I'd met him. And I said, yeah, okay, whatever. It's not, whatever. And then she's like, these tall women are thinking there's only tall women. Women want a man that's taller than them anyways.
Yes.
So tall women now have such a short selection of men they can choose from.
Yeah.
And then this short thing here is taking one of the tall ones. You could have found any man. You could have found a 5'5" man and he would still have been a few inches taller than you. You could have found Mr. Wolf and he still would have been taller than you.
Oh wow.
My God.
You didn't need to get somebody that is 6'3", 6'4".
Yeah, tall men are attractive. It's an attractive quality to a lot of women.
It was only when I saw them, because I argued with her. I was basically doing this. Why stop thinking like that? I said stop thinking so negative. Stop thinking so negative. Until I saw them standing side by side.
So basically,
and she came up to his waist and I was like, okay, I get your point. I see what you're saying.
So what you're saying is that you think that if the woman is got an issue or she's not with a black man or she's trying to get a black man and then she sees a black man with a non-black woman, that she gets a bit of animosity.
I don't even know.
It might not even be all that. It might just be just the general aesthetic of it. Like, oh, you know, we're looking for the black family, and then they look out there and they don't see the black family.
I've just noticed it, and it was something that I picked up on today when I was with Stav and his child. I assumed that. I want one more last thing to say as well. I was with Stav and his child for maybe how long? Maybe about 7 hours.
Well, we met about 11:30 and we left each other around 5.
So
anyway, 5.5 hours.
All right. So roughly, most of that time, his daughter wanted to spend most of the time with me because obviously I'm the.
She doesn't get to see much.
Yeah,
as much as she sees her dad.
Uncle, can I hold your hand? Uncle, can I do this? Uncle, can you pick me? Uncle, can you? I don't know how you lot do it, man. I don't know how you lot do it.
Get used to it.
I don't know how you lot do it. I love her.
I was looking at it.
I love her, but how long? Leave me alone.
She's going to teach you patience.
Oh, wait, leave me alone. Man, Tom, this guy, you're private it. Because I was like, even it was one point when you had actually gone inside to, because we was going suit shopping, basically, to go look for the groomsmen suits and my what's it called? What am I going to be? Groom suit. Yeah, basically. All right. And Stav was trying on one of the suits so he can model for us and blah, blah, blah. So whilst he was in there, I then had the child, yeah? I had his child. Right. So at one point, I was on my phone, not paying attention. And then she was then eventually after a while, she just said, what did she say? I want to do something or something like that. And then I had to clock, oh, she wants me to pay attention to her. Because she's just sitting there waiting for me to do something to entertain her at some point. And the other man, probably the same man,
I heard him.
was laughing like, yes, she's just waiting for you to...
No, because you did something and then I heard her laughing. And the man said, that's all you had to do is give her some attention. That's what she wanted.
Yeah. No, because I said it before him. I said, oh, she wants some attention. Because I wasn't paying her any attention. I just thought, she's sitting down there. Usually somebody else will be dealing with her, not me, because their parent will be there. And that's the person that she usually runs to, is not me. But because he wasn't there, I had to pay her attention. And I was like, oh. So then I started like tickling her and blah, blah, blah. And I thought to myself, how do you mans do this where you have to pay attention to this human being all day?
This is why the TV and the tablet brings up children. And it's so hard for us because I don't want her doing that. So when she's with me, I try not to let her do it. When you go swimming, and I'm always a snob with the other parents. It's like, my child does this, my child does that. When it comes to TV, and they will live on a tablet. It's like, my child don't watch TV. But this was up to about 2 months ago, and she just didn't watch TV. I didn't let her watch TV. So with me, anyways, her mum's different story. But with me, she don't watch TV. So when we're together, you have to read to her, you have to play with her. It's so tiring, yeah. Mm-hmm. But now it's getting to the point. She is now gotten into the realm of TV, where I've let her watch enough TV to the point now when she wakes up, Daddy, I want to watch. This is the first thing. Daddy, first of all, is Daddy, where's Mummy? Because Mummy will go to work and I'm at home and I'm working in the evenings. So Daddy, where's Mummy? Mummy's at work. Daddy, I want to watch TV. Daddy, I want Rice Krispies. That's what she give me food, I give you TV. And it's getting to the point now where it's like, I'm letting her watch more and more. And I've discussed it with my wife and it's like, we have to stop this.
Play dominoes with your daughter. I'm not even joking. Play dominoes with your daughter.
I don't disagree with you, brother. I need to learn to play chess. So I can play chess. Ludos, that's what our parents were doing with us back in the day. Ludo, innit?
Still play that now, bro.
You get me?
Ludo board at home.
It helps the counting.
Let me just...
And the memory.
You lot always praising your wives. I want to praise my wife because...
Praise them!
Because one thing I can say is... One thing I'll say I love about my missus is that when there's children around, she becomes like one of them. Not Michael Jackson style, but she becomes like... She becomes the monster. She will chase them around. She becomes the queen of the house or whatever.
She adapts.
Yeah, both my in-laws are like this.
Yeah.
So my sister's husband, my brother's wife.
They will turn into whatever game playing thing they want to do. And you don't know how much I love that, because when the child eventually does come, she will have that child and do all of that.
That's what you think.
Because trust me, because Daddy is not having it. Sit down there.
When they can give the children back, it's different. Bro.
You're gonna soften.
I can't do it.
No, you will.
I cannot do it.
He will soften.
He will soften, yeah, because he'll have to, because he will want to be a good father. But the TV and the tablet is going to help him out.
I think that you should babysit your niece for a weekend.
I don't mind. I'll have her.
I was standing beside him and I was still looking at him every 5 seconds.
No, listen, she will fix him.
She will fix me.
She will fix you.
Nah.
No, she will. She will run things.
Wireless cool, man. Wireless cool.
She had a nice time with me, but I was like, oh my
You're
days.
tired. You're not used to it.
I was blatantly. I got home tired. I was properly tired. I'm like, oh wow.
This man bench presses the earth, but to carry this girl for 5 minutes,
I injured myself. That's why I injured myself. I injured myself this week.
I
injured myself this week, but it was an amazing experience to be with them for a long period of time, and it was nice that she wanted me and not him as well. That also gave me pleasure. But yeah,
my daughter still talks about the time you took her cinema. You know,
she had a good time. And I gave her what's it called, chocolate. That's why.
Okay. All right. Sorry, we have to go. Simone, would you give us your socials, please?
At Simone Ashby on Twitter and at Simone Ashby on Instagram.
Plug.
So yeah, that's where you can find me.
Yeah, and tell us about this where we're going to find you on this podcast.
I may be starting a podcast
Breaking news.
A couple of weeks.
Well, yeah, when you do start your podcast, remember to talk into your mic.
Yes, sorry.
Yeah,
okay. I like to bob around.
Go on.
So yeah, it will just be me just talking about some experiences I've had in the city.
Ooh. So Black in the City kind of thing.
Yes.
So just you? Are you going to have a guest?
I'll have guests, I think.
From the city?
Yes.
Plug.
All right. It's our city team.
Black and people of colour. They talk about their experiences.
I thought you wouldn't use the people of colour term.
I said black and people of colour.
You still use the term.
They're two different things.
What's that got to do? I'm not talking about black. You're bringing that into the equation. I said I didn't think you would use the term people of colour.
Why not?
For black people.
Because you're one of them head rap Erica.
Yeah. But I didn't use the term people of colour for black people.
I want to see your next life.
I get that. Don't mind him.
I separated the two.
I don't get what I don't.
My friend didn't wrap up this thing.
Right, Mr. Wolf needs to go.
All right, okay. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening to episode 115 of Eloquently Saying Nothing podcast. Rate, review. I haven't asked you to do that in a long time. If you have an Apple device, go to Apple Podcasts and rate and review us. Keep it the 5 stars. We are unblemished as it stands.
And rate and review other podcasts as well.
Yeah, I do that. I noticed one that I listened to and I rated it just yesterday because it had no ratings. I was like, wow, no ratings. 5 stars.
I rated Just a Tip. Because I wanted to do it the other day. I couldn't because I don't have an Apple product.
No, I haven't done.
I think I did it.
Go and do Just a Tip.
Yeah, Just a Tip. Off the cuff.
With a man there.
Not Everyday Pod.
With a man
Our
there.
podcast brothers and
Let's
sisters.
Talk.
Yeah,
Colour
my
Out
sisters.
the Box.
Yeah, all of them.
Yeah, Let's Talk is they're doing a little revamp thing. So yeah, I'm looking forward to your. And on that note, we will leave. Thank you very much. Who's gonna say the thing? Who's gonna say the thing? Someone say it. Someone say the thing.
Remember, if you ain't saying nothing, say it well.
Slag for life.
Yeah.
I'm feeling kind of hungry, cause my high is coming down. Don't see yours, as your food does guiding you. I'm out there doing the every time. Oh, what a day, what a day, what a day. Something in them blood clot. Right in their rain.
Where did you get blood clot from? You just love a blood clot.
I'll throw it in there, boy.